Hello and welcome to this weekly psychic forecast for week commencing the 3rd of April 2023. This is our first reading of April. There's spring in the air. It's a very exciting energy. So let's dive on in. We have the overview of the week here. I've got a couple more cards as well to share with you. This is available to the general public on YouTube, Rumble and Odyssey. And then we will go day by day, finishing with a spiritual guidance message at the end. And if you would like to see the day by day and spiritual guidance message, that is for members only. And you can sign up over on Ko-fi, link in the description below. So this week, here are our cards. We have number 7, the Chariot, Archangel Metatron's energy coming in here as well. An important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. We also have number 1, Love Abounds. I love this card. The big heart. It is all about new beginnings, but big-hearted new beginnings. It's very emotional energy this week. It's very exciting energy. And then we have number 8, Consciousness, Happy Success. So, wow. There's an excited energy of, in some ways, your chicken's coming home to roost, but in a really good way. It's like the thing that you wanted to do or achieve or move forwards is finally moving forwards. You are achieving the things you want to achieve. Success is definitely possible this week. Progress is possible this week. New beginnings and also renewal, I want to say, in this week, or taking the next steps on your journey, the next steps in your relationships, beginning a new relationship when this card shows up as well. This is the Ace of Cups in a traditional tarot deck. This is actually from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, which is a non-traditional tarot deck. Very much talks about emotions. And I wanted to bring this deck in this week because it feels like emotions are very important. Our emotions are leading us, but in a good way, I want to say, not the emotions of reacting to things and being reactionary and petty and getting offended about things. I mean the deep emotions of true understanding and awareness of who we truly are and what we're doing. So, yeah, I'm really loving the energy for this week. It's so hopeful, it's so optimistic. Obviously, Sun is in Aries, so we are charging forwards at the moment, and the Chariot, very appropriate, I think, for this week. But we charge forward with open hearts and we get the success as well. And the success, I feel that we'll see this week, it will be long-lasting. I think achievements we make this week will be long-lasting. This could be the beginning of something that goes on the longer term for you, to the medium to longer term. This isn't necessarily just a one-off that you do a thing and that's it. This feels with this number 8 here, and then I've got number 8 repeated with 7 and 1 here, so I can make another 8 there as well. It feels like we have the opportunity, as long as our heart is in it, to really start something for the longer term, to begin something that will be meaningful for us on the longer term, whether that's in work, in relationships, in your life. You could be starting a new spiritual practice, you could be starting a new hobby, a new business. You could have a business idea within your business and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to do this new thing. Whatever it is, the energy of something very new, but your heart really loves, that makes your heart sing. That's what I feel this week. That's what you have the opportunity to do this week. And if you're not sure what the thing is yet, that's fine. Play, explore, let your heart lead, because I think your heart already knows, but it could just be that there's a disconnect between the heart and mind. It could be that your mind isn't listening or doesn't want to listen because ego jumps in and says, oh no, we can't do that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course I'd love to do that, but no, we can't do that. I want you to put the, oh no, we can't do that to one side this week. And I've got a couple more cards from the one of my dragon oracles here. This is the Star Dragons Oracle. We have 3, Transformation, Defining Yourself. And we have 19, Independence, Carving Your Own Path. So there's a real energy here of knowing yourself. Know thyself. I think there's an opportunity to really get to know yourself this week, to know yourself on a deeper level. Understand yourself on a deeper level. And that doesn't just mean intellectually, although it might be. You might be in counselling, you might be paying attention to your mind, really searching within yourself to understand yourself better. But it could also be understanding just who you truly are, but on a deeper level, I want to say. And that could come through your spiritual practice or through meditation, through yoga, through mindfulness, for example. And I will just mention, these cards are very relevant for me this week as well. I can feel it. You know, I'm recording this on Sunday, the 2nd of April, so the week hasn't started yet, technically. But I can feel it because I just completed a mindfulness meditation teacher training, which was wonderful. So, yeah, and it all happened in perfect timing, so fast. You know, I always say the universe loves speed. When it's meant to happen, it happens super fast. And I'm really loving these cards, encouraging us to love ourselves and know ourselves. Define who you truly are. You can be who you want, not who you think you should be, or who your parents told you should be, society told you should be, somebody on the internet told you should be. Okay? There's always going to be someone who criticizes you. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't agree with what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Okay. So independence, carving your own path. I really love this. It is very much about self-sovereignty. There's great power. Let me look at these two cards. There's great power and strength that comes through here. I think we are capable of so much, but it's not just achievement, because it feels like transformational achievement. It feels like the things that we do and achieve this week actually mean something. Yeah, they're going to mean something. Not everything's going to be huge, but it will be meaningful. I think there will be some very, very meaningful insights, I want to say, this week. So let's get the Spirit Oracle out, see what they've got to add to this. I'm really excited. This week's energy looks fab. It's going to be fantastic. I'm excited. I mean, obviously, you can never guarantee it's going to be 100% positive, because life never is 100% positive. That's kind of not the point. But it is very powerful. It is very hopeful, I want to say. So there's really good things going to come out of this week, and that's just on the personal level. Of course, that will be mirrored on the international scale, you know, in governments, in people in power, on the macro level, you know, on the world stage. I think some new beginnings, some hopeful new beginnings, people taking back their power more and more and realizing just how powerful they are, defining themselves. So there could be a state or a country breaking away from another one. It could be people, I mean, we've already got people standing up to politicians saying no to them, to the people who call themselves in power or authority. But I think there's something a little bit more going on here. It's something almost revolutionary, I want to say. That this energy is almost revolutionary. It's very, very interesting. So let's bring in the Spirit Oracle here. Okay. What does love mean to you on number 8? So again, there's this number 8. So it is about the longer term. It is about what we want our life to look like on the longer term. What do we want? What do we need for our success to be happy? Because true success is about being happy, about being joyful. It's not about earning money or getting accolades or certificates or letters after your name. That's not necessarily what success looks like for everyone. That's a very short-sighted view of success. It can take many forms. And with this card as well, you can replace the word love with anything. What does love mean to you? But you could fill in the word love. You could say anything there. What does achievement mean to you? What does success mean to you? What does transformation mean to you? What does independence mean to you? So it's very much, I think, a week for redefining how we view the world, how we understand the world. A real look at how we view the world and how we view ourselves in it as well. I think it's such a fascinating energy. It's almost like all bets are off this week. We have the opportunity to redefine everything, to throw the book out of the window, throw the rule book out of the window and build something completely new, but in our own image and coming from the heart. But the true heart, not fickleness, not attraction, in the sense of maybe sexual attraction or just something we fancy in that moment, but the deeper, higher levels of the higher heart, I would say. So, cosmic alignment. Yeah, this week's astrology is going to be interesting. As you guys know, I always say I'm not an astrologer. Have a look at your astrology this week. I think it's going to be interesting. And on that note, I am going to bring in the astrology dice because I feel like they want to come out to play. I'm being very careful with them. So I just did my nails and I don't want to bash them. I'm trying to be really careful with them so they don't end up looking ridiculous. Right, let's What else do we have here? So cosmic alignment, very magical feel coming from that, but it is about carving our own path. And I think the star seeds in particular are going to be feeling it this week, because there is intervention coming in from other planetary beings. So what do we have here? We have Mercury, we have Capricorn, and we have the 7th house. So this is interesting because we have Mercury, which is obviously communication, it's speed, it's very fast. It can be computers, IT, but also, you know, learning new things, education. And then Capricorn, who's much more sedate, a much slower energy, whereas Mercury can be quite innovative. Capricorn is kind of where we get real. This is from more traditional energy. It's also work and career and money and finance. You know, Capricorn's very good with money. All the accountants I know, they're all Capricorns. Seriously, it's insane. But more traditional values with that as well. They have caution here. And it's like the mind wants to charge forwards, and we have the caution of Capricorn here as well. So, but also, I feel it could be the theme of work. It could be the innovator from Mercury coming in the theme of work and career and money. And 7th house, the house of relationships. But all relationships, you know, not just romantic relationships. It could be redefining your relationship with work, redefining your relationship with money, redefining your relationship with the traditions of the country you come from, the traditions of your society, of your religion, perhaps of your family. And again, it's this energy of transformation that we have here. Very exciting. And I love how we've got the number 7 repeating there as well. So that 7, the number of a mystic in numerology, which is very, very spiritual. Seeing things from a higher standpoint, seeing things from the mystical standpoint, the spiritual standpoint, seeing some real soul searching here, I think, this week. It's exciting, very, very interesting. A very deep week, I think. And even if we don't have the immediate success this week, even if we don't have the immediate answers about what the changes are we want to make, perhaps, or even don't even know what the changes are, I think it will be this week that's the catalyst for them, even if we don't see it immediately. Kundalini rising. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to throw all the rule books out if we've got a Kundalini rising happening. So yeah, there could literally be some spiritual psychic advancement happening for some people this week. Realizations, awakenings, which are always very, very exciting, can make you feel a little bit crazy, but can make you act in ways that would make other people around you say, what on earth are you doing? Have you gone mad? No, actually, I've just woken up. I'm not mad anymore. I was mad before. I'm sane now. So exciting energy. It's transformational. It's kind of all bets are off with that 16, which is Tower energy. Tower, the tarot card of the Tower, for example. Which is literally, we're going to throw you out the window and see what happens. It also reminds me of the story of, there's a Buddhist story of a Buddhist teacher who one of his students wanted to reach enlightenment, and he threw him out the window. And became enlightened in that moment because he got it. I don't advocate that we throw people out of windows, and it is a story, possibly metaphorical, but it was so unexpected. That the man became enlightened, and it always makes me giggle, that one. Always makes me giggle. The universe can kind of throw you out of a window to wake you up. So, looking at our romance and relationships cards here. Right. So work, love, family, spirituality, balance on 36-9. And balance is so important. And like you guys know, I'm always saying, work-life balance is an unfair concept. So, because how do you balance 5 and 2? Well, you can't. But you can balance all of these other things. Okay, so there is a need here to balance all of the aspects of our life, and that could be where this new lifestyle comes in, perhaps where this new way of working, this new way of living comes in, where we are truly in balance. All of the aspects of self, all of our relationships come better into balance, are more... I was going to say balanced again, more equilibrium between them. So we have enough time for all of them. It's not just work, 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 work. I've got 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, I've got to have to do all of these other things. I've got to spend time with my family and with my partner, and I'm going to see my parents at some point. I'm going to do my spiritual practice, and I need to go to the gym. And how am I going to do all of these things? You know, it's No, it just doesn't work. It's the new lifestyle. A new lifestyle is needed. I think we all know it. People are sort of experimenting with things like the 4-day working week, and I don't know that's necessarily the right solution, but it just shows that people are trying to do something because they sense it, they feel it, they know something has to shift, something has to change. And that is completely normal because that's the age of Aquarius that we're moving into. And then wisdom and experience over here on 44-8, so another 8 coming in, that eternal 8. But 8 is also great success and great financial fortune as well. I want to bring Maneki Neko in here. You guys know I love Maneki Neko. I'm going to bring this one in because he's lovely. He wants to come in today. But a very grounded energy that we're in right now in 44. So there's 2 4s. I think we're grounded in our wisdom experience. You know, we've been there, done that. We've tried doing it the old-fashioned way. We understand what that means. We understand what it looks like. We know what we're doing there. But actually we want something new now. We want to change. We want to grow. We want to innovate. Perhaps we are unexpectedly awakened and suddenly realise we want to make changes. But we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, I want to say on 44. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because your past experience, in a way, it is your grounding, it is your foundation, because it's what you already know. It's what you know experientially, it's your knowledge, it's your wisdom, and you can look at it and say, well, that didn't work, so I'm going to try this. Okay, you're not completely green. There are things that you know. There are things that you can already do. So work with what you already know and innovate from there. You don't have to completely reinvent the wheel here, unless you really want to. I mean, Mercury is capable of anything. So who knows? Let's have a look at money for the week as well. Okay, so money oracle. Let's take a look here. What does Maneki Neko want for us? I want to take this one off the bottom, actually. Gifts of time and money. Yes. 55-10, 10-1. Make it happen on 46-10-1. So 10's coming in here now. Okay, right. Shares and sharing on 14-5. Oh, I like it. Okay. Yeah, it feels like a new pyramid of needs. The pyramid of needs. I'm studying cat behaviour at the moment, and one of the things we study is the what's it called, the pyramid of needs? I forget the proper name for it, but basically the things that an animal needs to be okay. So it needs food, it needs water, it needs shelter, it needs safety, you know, and different things have different levels of importance, which is why it's in a pyramid. And I feel that there's a new pyramid coming in for our needs, if that makes sense. We're going to start seeing things really differently this week. Actually, I don't need that. Maybe I don't need the gym membership. Maybe I'm more interested in growing my own garden and doing my exercise that way. You know, maybe that doesn't interest me anymore. And it does feel like it's connected to work, career, money. So it is going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But gifts of time and money. I want to say, yes, possibly finances coming in, possibly, you know, gifts, inheritance, literally coming in for some people, but the universe gifting you time, gifting you money so that you can achieve that balance, that better balance. It does feel like we are being supported, being helped here in our own transformation. As long as we're prepared to take the steps, the universe will support us, is what I want to say, because we've got 2 10s at the bottom here, 55-10-1 and 46-10-1. So that's very much change and transformation. Shares and sharing. And yes, there is this reminder here that the most important thing is that we take care of each other. Okay, no man is an island, as we know, but on a deeper level than that, we're all one. And that is the ultimate truth. The cosmic truth is that we are all one. There is no separation. It just looks like there is. That's why we're in this realm, to experience what it would be like, you know, if we were all separate from each other, if we were these individual distinct entities. Okay, we're not. We're just all one, just having the experience as being distinct entities, which is some fun sometimes and crap other times. You know, it is what it is. But we must remember that if we want to have balance in our life, if we want to achieve this balance, we can't just think about ourselves. We have to think about others as well, and we have to take care of each other. And I like how I've put the cards out here in kind of like this pyramid shape. So it feels like the triangle or the pyramid shape is going to be showing up this week as well, because that wasn't intentional on my part. That's just kind of how they came out. And like you guys know, I always say I don't have a particular spread for readings because I read intuitively and the cards come out as they come out. Okay. So this week looking interesting. I would be very interested to hear from you about how your week actually goes yeah, changes on the world stage, look out for those. Changes in your own life, in people around you. Kundalini rising, look out for inspiration hitting you. Look out for information coming through from your guides. Light bulb moments when it comes to, you know, the meaning of life and how you live your life. Very, very dynamic energy this week, and one that we can do a lot with. We can really, really capitalise on. So next we are going to move to the days of the week for members only over on Ko-fi. The link will be below. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, please do come and join me over on Ko-fi. It costs less than a coffee every week. So please do come along, and I will see you on Monday for Monday's cards. So thank you for joining me here over on Ko-fi, and we're going to look at days of the week, finishing with a spiritual guidance message for the week as well from the dragons. So Monday's cards, Monday the 3rd of April, we have the Knight of Earth, loyal, dedicated, honourable, kind, time to buckle down and get things done, honour your commitments, a guardian angel. We have number 2, coming together, and we have number 4, events, conflict. What I want to say here is it's not about avoiding the storms, because I don't think that's possible. There are always going to be problems in life. There are always going to be issues. It's how you navigate the storm. It's how you deal with it. It's how you deal with the problems when they arise. And that seems to be, I wanted to use the word test, actually. That's Monday's test. Maybe that's Monday's energy as well. But again, very loving energy coming in. We've got 2 green cards, but we have the conflict card coming on 4. So quite a heavy energy, feels very dutiful, maybe some things that you have to do that you don't want to do, maybe fighting over who has to do the chores, you know, who has to look after the kids or whatever. Yeah, responsibility, burdens coming up, but it's about how you deal with them is what I want to say. It's about the attitude of how you deal with problems, how you deal with chores, how you deal with things that you don't really want to do. And it is about how you work with others as well, I want to say, on the number 2 here. So in a traditional tarot deck, this will be the 2 of Cups, which can be about relationships. So literally this one says coming together. You know, it can be about soulmates. It can be about beginning a relationship. It can be about flirting. So it could be that you want to go out on a date, but actually you've got to stay at home and do laundry. And it's about our responsibilities and how we balance them. So again, it's that theme of coming up of balancing all the different aspects of life, all the different aspects of our lives, in a very practical sense as well, and the practical things being dealt with, because we do have to deal with the practical things, because if we don't, we end up in trouble. We end up in trouble, choppy waters, if we don't pay attention to our trajectory, if we don't pay attention to navigating our route correctly. I feel that's certainly going to be a theme coming through on Monday. We are being asked to work diligently to be the person that we promised other people we would be, to do the things that we promised other people we would do. I think it's very important to keep your word on Monday, to, you know, to follow through. Follow through is so difficult, you know. It's very easy to have an idea or to say something or to promise something, but to actually then follow through and do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again is much more difficult. And it could be a meditation practice. It could just be a promise to yourself that you made. It could be a promise to another person. You know, it could be a commitment that you made to improve your life, a work commitment, you know. And that's not to say that you have to do things forever. You know, if you want to change jobs, you can change jobs. But at the same time, do the things that you need to do. No shirking on Monday, I want to say. Come from the right place with everything. Be honourable. There's a need for being honourable. There's a need for honesty on Monday. There's a need to follow through on the things that we said we would do, to make sure we are being the person that, you know, that we truly are, that we're not being lazy or being led astray by ego saying, no, don't bother doing that. Oh, it's fine. Just let them down, you know, just step away. No. Of course, you know, if you're not well and really can't go to work, that's fine. Okay. But if you are unwell, for example, there could be a reminder here. Have you been taking care of yourself? Is your life out of balance? Usually when we get sick, it could well be a reminder that our life is out of balance. Maybe we haven't been getting enough rest. Maybe we haven't been eating the right things. Maybe we've been eating too many of the wrong things or consuming things that aren't healthy for us. You know, alcohol. cigarettes, whatever it is. We need to take care of ourselves, care of our body. We have a duty to the physical body. You know, this is the vessel that we live in while we're here on earth. We have a duty to the body temple to take care of it. You know, it will do its best to take care of itself, but we have to help. You know, we have to have a part in that. So there is a little nudge there to be taking good care of the body, to listen to it, to listen to what it wants, to pay attention to what you need to be doing, rather than saying, oh, it's fine, I'll just have another drink. Maybe not. Okay. Let's have a look at the Spirit Oracle cards here. Cat energy. Okay. What brings you happiness and joy? Okay. So some questions coming in here. What is truth and where does it lie? Lots of questions coming in. So cat energy. Cats can be very aloof. Okay, and it can be very difficult to make them do things, as we know. As anyone knows, if they've ever interacted with a cat, or if they own a cat, that, you know, we have the saying, it's like herding cats when something is difficult, because it is difficult to herd cats. I heard some the other day. It's very difficult. They never go where you want. What brings you happiness and joy? What brings you truly happiness and joy and fulfillment, I want to say. And I want to say shirking your responsibilities doesn't really bring you joy most of the time. Most of the time it's something that it can make you feel really bad about yourself. Okay, there are exceptions to that, of course. But I want to say, you know, integrity and living within our integrity is very important for our self-esteem, for our self-worth. And I just want to remind you of that on Monday. And with the cat energy as well, yes, there's an independent energy here for sure. Maybe doesn't want to do as it's told. Maybe there's an aspect of you that's saying, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to go over here and sunbathe and lick my tail, you know. Maybe it's not the right moment to, you know, to do what that aspect of you says. Okay, maybe it's time to move more into sort of dog energy, where you work for the pack rather than being a little bit self-serving, because cats can be quite self-serving, quite selfish. And that's okay because they're cats, but we're human beings. All right, so there is a caution here against being selfish, particularly in any kind of relationship, whether it's a work relationship, family, romantic relationships. Make sure you're working together. Okay, otherwise there will be problems. What is truth and where does it lie coming in on 30? So what is the truth of this situation? You know, because very often we kid ourselves and we think, oh, it'll be okay, when we actually know perfectly well that that's a platitude, just so that we can get away with doing the bad behaviour that we know we shouldn't be doing. But if we say that to ourselves, then we kind of feel better about it. On some level, on a surface level, you know, on a deeper level, we may be feeling very guilty. So watch your actions today. I think we could really allow ourselves to be led astray, because there's a lot of work to be done. And it can be wonderful. I think if we spend time working with other people, collaborating with other people, it's a good day for collaboration, I feel. As long as everyone's bringing their whole self to the table, you know, as long as nobody's half-hearted, you know. If your heart's in it, I want to say, do it. If your heart's in it, do it. Work with somebody else, do the collaboration. If it's not, then you might still have to power through if you've made a commitment. Okay. Interesting. Let's look at relationships and romance. Cat person, dog person. So again, the animal theme coming up. Person, dog person, and we are all different. That's the thing, and that can very much be a cause of conflict, because we have different opinions on things, different habits, different ways of being, and how somebody else is and the differences between us and them, that can really annoy us, that can really get up our nose, and that can cause us to not want to do the right thing sometimes, just because we don't like the person we're supposed to be doing it for, and that's not necessarily okay. Okay, and then we have sacred soulmate. Wow, so there's some soulmate energy coming in here as well. So there's certainly, I want to say relationships are highlighted, but not just romantic relationships. I also want to say family relationships. So family and romantic relationships, I would say, are highlighted today. The people who challenge us, I think, the people who are so different to us, what can we learn from them? How can we listen to them differently so that we actually understand what they're saying to us on a deeper level, I want to say, because when we are different and we work together, we can achieve things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to achieve on our own, because on our own, yes, we bring a certain set of skills and energies to the table, but somebody else brings in something else. And we might not like that, but our skills combined may be really wonderful. Okay, you might bring blue, they might bring yellow, and together you get green. Whereas on your own, you couldn't make green. because you only had blue. Okay, so you needed that yellow. So, oops, this one wants to jump out. Stronger together, like I just said. What I just said, yes. Sometimes we are stronger together, even if we think the other person is too different. Okay, we don't agree with everything. Sometimes we can come to better solutions when we work together. And I don't mean that as in the, like the kids' cartoons, oh, let's work together, It's a lesson we all learn very early on. Yes, many hands make light work. Absolutely. It is a day for collaboration and for cooperation, and I think some great things can come of it, especially if we're working with someone who's maybe a little bit unlikely, that we didn't think we would be working with, and that could be the thing that put us off. Oh no, I don't want to do that project with them. Oh, I don't want to do that homework with them. I'm just going to skip this one. No, don't actually, because you might be surprised how well you work together. You might be surprised how much you can achieve together. Psychic connection. Oh, interesting. I'm bringing in a whole other dimension here as well. So psychic connection is highlighted with other people, telepathy highlighted. So this could be a day where you do meet somebody that you have a very special connection with that you weren't expecting. And that can be, a colleague, a friend. Yes, it can be a romantic connection, but not necessarily. But it feels like a very interesting soul steps into your life. It may not be the first time they've stepped in. This may not be a complete stranger, but I think you're really seeing them on a deeper level, on a new level, I want to say, and that's going to be very, very interesting. I'm also very drawn to this shape here on the coming together card. With these two cards here, it almost looks kind of like a bow and arrow. And I just want to draw your attention to bow and arrow. So it feels like you could really sort of spring forwards or really get some momentum going, some speed in your projects if you are prepared to work with, maybe with the person that you thought you didn't want to. Maybe with the person that rubbed you up the wrong way, or you think, oh no, we'll never be able to work together. You might be surprised how much you can achieve. And that's not necessarily, just at paid work. It could be volunteer work, it could be a project, it could be at home, it could be somebody online that you talk to. It really doesn't matter who this person is, but it does feel like working together could be very, very beneficial today, particularly working with the person that you have nothing in common with. Okay, so let's take a look at money and finance for Monday. Goldstone crystal coming up again. Now that's interesting, that's very much been a theme. We had that a couple of weeks ago. We had goldstone as the crystal for the week. It came out a couple of times. I've also got great fortune and reap what you've sown. Yes, well, that's the reminder. You will reap what you've sown. So hard work may be necessary today, but ultimately you will be rewarded for following through. If you can follow through on today's difficult stuff that you have to do, the boring things that you have to do that you don't necessarily want to, I think you really can reap the rewards, because you can make it through a storm in a boat. Storms aren't necessarily catastrophic. I mean, they definitely can be catastrophic for boats. They're always challenging. I don't sail, but I don't need to sail to know that. I feel like you can make it through any storms today. You really can. Particularly if you are coming from the right place and doing the right thing for the right reasons, is what I want to say. If you can take your integrity with you, I think you can achieve a lot. I think you can grow a lot today as well. It's a very interesting day on Monday. Very interesting. It's almost like Monday's energy throws down a gauntlet to us and says, right, what are you going to do with it? So, very, very interesting energy. Oh, we also have cryptocurrency. And win, lose, spend. Okay, so crypto coming up. So again, this could be a connection to computerized money, so literally cryptocurrencies or just online currencies, maybe any kind of digital currency or digital way of exchanging, barter perhaps. So that's highlighted today. So that is quite interesting. Be interesting to see what's happening in the crypto markets there as well. But win, lose, spend. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. And when you win, you can spend it. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Money's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be difficult. It's not supposed to be a chore. It's supposed to be a fun thing that we can do things with, that we can, use as an energy exchange. And that's what I want to say today. Let's bring some goldstone in. There we go. Just bring a piece of goldstone in here. I really love goldstone. It's all pretty and sparkly. Really love that one. Okay, so goldstone crystal might be one that you want to get a piece of and carry around with you today. Energetically, that could be very helpful. Could be very beneficial for you. Could be helpful, you know, literally with your finances. But great fortune is here underpinning the whole reading. So that's interesting. So there could be some very, very lucky shifts, changes going on today. Maybe with the cryptocurrency markets, maybe something shoots up, but it feels like it would only be for a short time because you've got win, lose, spend. So it could be a fun day, you know, for playing on the markets if that's something that you like to do. You know, maybe you're a trader. Maybe that's something you do in your spare time. Maybe that's something you enjoy doing. Maybe it's something you want to look into doing. That could be quite fun. Now, I don't give financial advice, as you know. I don't have the first clue when it comes to that, so I would never dare to give any financial advice to anybody. I'm not qualified. But it might be something, you know, if that's something that appeals to you, that could be something to look at today, to look into, to learn about. But great fortune. And this card is underneath the Knight of Earth, so the loyal, the dedication, being honourable, doing the right thing, following through on your commitments, being the guardian angel to other people. And sometimes you can appear as a guardian angel just because you're following through on your commitments, and people don't expect it from everyone these days. Okay, who's reliable these days? Goodness me. There aren't that many reliable people around, unfortunately. People tend to be flaky and lazy and unreliable, and you never know who's going to show up for work or not. Especially the past few years gave everyone the perfect excuse to call in sick every 5 minutes. So, let's get some numerology. Just the one? You want that one as well? Okay, we're going to get a couple of numerology dice here. Get some numbers for Monday. You can use these numbers on the lottery if you want. Whoa! Number 2 and 19. Interesting. So 19, 10, 1, we had 19 in the weekly overview, and number 2, so that's the same number as this one here, coming together. So 2, emotional, seeing both sides, I want to say with number 2 as well, being able to understand both sides, to see both sides of an argument, being able to reconcile differences. And 19, being guided by our wisdom, I feel. And 2 is a very intuitive number as well, because it feels its way through everything. So it is about feeling and intuiting our way through, but I think the intuition guiding us if our emotions threaten to take us in the wrong direction, if they threaten to overwhelm us. I think the intuition is something that we can really lean into today. The intuition feels quite strong. Emotions may be running high too. Interesting day. But lean into the intuition again. The psychic connection card I'm very drawn to. Good day for meditation, for psychic development, you know, for doing readings, that sort of thing, or practicing telepathy. Is that something you do? That's quite a fun exercise to do actually with somebody else. Practicing telepathy. If you've never done it, I do recommend it. It's really fun. We used to do it on the school bus when I was a kid. You'd be surprised how good you are at it. 19, 10, 1. Yeah, transformational, new beginnings, but lots of emotion there as well. Don't let the emotion get on top of you. Just listen to it because it is information. But let the wisdom, let the intuition guide you today. I think that's what I want to say. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Tuesday. So let's take a look at Tuesday, the 4th of April. Our cards, we have the Ace of Air, brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. Number 6, healing begins. And another 6 here, spirit, family, friends and guides. Okay, so it looks like the heart is going to be very much highlighted, I want to say, on Tuesday. The heart is highlighted, but so is the mind. So it's interesting, but using the mind, maybe the higher mind perhaps, to facilitate our relationships rather than letting difficult emotions run away with us is what I want to say. And the energy feels a bit brighter on Tuesday as well. Monday I actually felt a little bit flat doing the energy there. I felt a little bit, a bit tired. Tuesday's energy feels like maybe we've got a bit of energy back again, feeling a little bit more buoyant, I want to say, for Tuesday. It is a day of new beginnings. It is a day of innovation, and we had those dice, didn't we? The astrology dice in the overview of the week. We had Mercury there as well. So Ace of Air kind of carries Mercury energy as well. It is inspiration, you know, it's innovation, it's new ideas, it's beginnings, it's exciting, okay? But again, it requires follow through if we're going to do that. But also, like I said, this week we may be having ideas or wanting to do things that are new, or following through on things that we wanted to do. But it may be necessary for us to actually do some healing in order to achieve them. Okay, and I talk about healing a lot, and sometimes people misunderstand what I mean by this, but ultimately the healing that we all need to do is the inner work, you know, to become one with the self, to become more at home in the self, are the words I want to use, more at home in the self, to quieten the voices inside our heads that criticize us, or to at least stop listening to them, to look at them and recognize them for what they are, just computer programs that are just running in the background, and you can ignore them. You don't have to listen, okay? They're not you. You are not your mind. That's what I want to remind you on Tuesday. You are not your mind. Your mind is not you, okay? The ego mind, as I call it, the lower mind, it's just a bunch of phrases that you've picked up at some point and that repeat themselves to you at various moments because they think it's the right time to repeat themselves. Okay, it's like a computer system that just has all these files and just sort of opens them up at various times because it thinks that's what it's supposed to do. And that can be incredibly unhelpful. It can be very helpful as well, you know, when the file opens up when you've got to drive the car. You need to know how to drive the car, you know. But when you have a new project to begin and the file opens up and says, oh, you won't be able to do that, immediately starts undermining you because there was a reason to do that in childhood, or you have a core belief that you won't be able to do that. Usually an erroneous belief, it's not true, but it comes in to trip us up at that moment. And that's what I want to talk about on Tuesday, those erroneous beliefs that we hold about ourselves, that we're bad, stupid, unlovable, incapable, oh, I'll never be able to do that, it's too hard, I'm not strong enough, I'm not clever enough, I won't be able to do it, you know, whatever those core beliefs that you hold about yourself, which are most likely not true, okay? The lies that we believe about ourselves, the horrible, horrible things that our inner critic says to us. That's what I want to focus on healing today. So it's a good day for working with a counsellor who understands these things, you know, or just working in meditation, maybe in mindfulness meditation, something like that, you know, so that we can recognise the thoughts for what they are, recognise the mind for what it is, and separate ourselves from it. I often recommend The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'm going to recommend it again today. It might be time to revisit it, or to revisit those teachings, you know, whichever source you get them from. That's one of the teachings of mindfulness, meditation, or Zen Buddhism, for example. The Buddhist teachings are very, very helpful for that sort of thing. It's where we get mindfulness from, really. It's kind of been borrowed by psychology, but it's not theirs. It comes from a deep spiritual root. And the Buddha is the doctor, isn't he? What is it? The medicine of the mind. Mindfulness is the medicine of the mind. I read that recently I think it was written by my teacher. But mindfulness is the medicine of the mind, and that's wonderful. It's so powerful, such powerful words, and such simplicity as well, which can bring such great results. So I'm going to suggest that to you. Also, our friends, look at where people trigger you. All right, family, friends, they are usually the ones that trigger us the most. Okay, you know, look at your relationships with your partner, with your brother, sister, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbours, you know, the people that we're closest to, maybe colleagues if we're close to them. Look at where they trigger you. Look at what they're highlighting in you, because at the same time, they are highlighting the aspects of you that need to be healed. So in that respect, they can literally be spirit guides to you, because the thing that they are highlighting in you, the pain that they're highlighting in you, that's the thing that needs to be healed. They are reflecting back to you where you have work to do, or where you can help yourself, where there's healing to do. Okay, I don't want you to feel like it's some sort of huge burden, because it's not. It's just little bit by little bit we can very gently and carefully heal ourselves. And that's the inner work that I feel we could do quite effectively on Tuesday. It does feel like a good day for that, for heart healing. And there are so many layers of heart healing. You know, I speak to so many people and I mention healing, and there's always that one person that goes, oh, I don't need to do any healing. And I think, okay, all right, if you say so. It's not true. We all have healing to do, just some people don't want to do it. That's the truth. We're never completely healed, I don't think, until we're enlightened. Or maybe until we leave leave the earth onto the spirit realm, perhaps. Who knows? And then they talk about healing on the other side as well. So, whew, who's to say? But we all have work we can be doing on ourselves. We can all be improving ourselves. Okay, and I don't mean that as in a self-improvement kind of thing. Oh, I've got to be better at this. I've got to be, I don't want you to beat yourself up about this. That's not the point. It's kind of a gentle nudge. Where are you holding yourself back? And how can you help yourself so that it doesn't happen, or so that you can lessen that tendency, so that you can experience the success, the happiness of actually being able to achieve your goals, either actually being able to achieve them or being able to achieve them and enjoy them as well. Because we might be able to achieve things and just not be able to enjoy it because our mind won't let us. Okay. So there's that. The inner saboteur, the inner critic. Oh, yes. Let's get some archetype cards out. Let's get those out there and come out to play. Oh, look at that. I managed not to drop any. Let's see what the archetypes are that we want to talk about today. Okay. Which aspects of us are really causing problems that we can work on? Oh. The lover. Yes. And the damsel. Yes. Are you playing the damsel in distress? Are you playing the victim waiting for somebody to come rescue you? Are you being the lover? Are you being the person who truly loves yourself and will not harm yourself, is empowered, has great strength and devotion to the things that you need to do? Okay. Yeah, are you truly loving yourself? With this card, I want to talk about self-love, loving the self, and treating yourself with deep love, deep compassion, kindness, really standing up for yourself, really being that lover to yourself, rather than perhaps falling into victimhood. Yeah. Because it's very convenient, isn't it? Victimhood becomes a very convenient excuse not to do things. There are always a million excuses not to do things, and only one reason to do them, and that's because you want to. All right. You may want to do something, but you have a million excuses why you can't do it, or you say you can't do it. All right. But are any of them actually true? And if they are, do they even matter? Okay. There's an amazing book actually by Wayne Dyer called Excuses Be Gone. It's also on audio. I think I've got it in all forms. I've got the audio, I've got the Kindle, I've got the actual physical book as well. I do recommend it. You can get this one secondhand. It doesn't have to be expensive, Excuses Be Gone. I'm going to recommend you that book today. Very, very helpful. Basically knocks out of the park all of the excuses you could ever come up with to not do something that you actually want to do. All of the excuses that you tell yourself, all of the reasons we tell ourselves, oh, I can't do that because, I can't do that because, I can't do that because. Well, that's great. I'm hearing that you've got all of these excuses. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let them hold you back? Because you don't have to. Life doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so let's take a look at our Spirit Oracle, its Spirit messages. See what we've got here. Oh, okay, that one. Taking full responsibility for your life brings freedom. What I was just saying. Yeah, and 51-6, so another 6 coming in here. Fertile soil grows the best carrots. Yes, it does. If you're going to do something, do it properly. All right. Take the right steps, do the right thing, or it won't work. And it can be the inner critic, the inner saboteur that stops us from taking those correct steps. And then we can say, oh, well, I tried to do that, but I couldn't do it. When actually maybe we didn't actually do the things we needed to do. Maybe we didn't invest the money we needed to. Maybe we didn't invest the time. Maybe we didn't buy the things we actually needed to buy. We found excuses. We thought we'd do it on the cheap, or do it in a half-assed way, or not ask for the help we needed, or try to do things with... Always reminds me of my mother. Actually, she's terrible for this. She was always trying to do things on the cheap, and it always went wrong. She'd try and do something on the cheap. She'd try and cut corners, and it would always just turn out wrong. Okay, and it was very frustrating. And you can end up actually wasting money that way as well. It's a false economy in every sense of the word. It's a false economy financially, but it's a false economy of energy as well. Don't be mean with things. If you want to do them properly. Take full responsibility and look at what actually needs to be done. Okay. Be the lover in your life, the person who really cares and loves and wants to support you. Okay. One more. Some people will intentionally misunderstand you. Yes. With this card, I do want to say to remember on Tuesday that not everyone's on your side. All right, not everyone's on your side. Not everyone understands you. Not everyone gets you. Not everyone likes you. And that's okay. All right, some people will pretend to misunderstand you on purpose, either because they find it funny, maybe they have something to gain by misconstruing or misportraying what you're trying to say, what you're trying to achieve. And that's why taking full responsibility is so important, being that sovereign being, so that you can stand up for yourself, fight your corner if needs be, but also to ignore them. Don't let them knock you back. They don't matter. They are not important because they're not you. Other people's opinions are none of your business and they're not important. Yeah, I was actually watching, after my mindfulness weekend, I was watching a documentary about the Dalai Lama yesterday. He was saying about how, you know, if somebody criticises you, don't worry about it. Just remember that there are some people who think you're great and who encourage you and praise you as well. And if you've got all these people praising you, remind yourself to balance it out with, well, there are people who criticise me who don't like what I do as well. And none of those things even matter. None of those things even matter. Just because someone criticises you, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Okay. It might hurt, but it doesn't mean a thing. Self-care comes first. Yes, it is about self-healing today, particularly in relationships. Soulmate, soul contract on 22. Oh, moving forwards together. Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice, actually. So there is a message here that improvements and progress can be made in relationships here, particularly new relationships, I want to say, particularly relationships where one of you or both of you have a lot of healing to do. And that's probably everyone, but in the grander scheme of things. But you know what I mean. Self-care, yes. So you can show love for the other person by taking care of yourself, by doing the things that you need to do, doing the healing that you need to do, doing the work that you need to do on yourself so that you can feel better within yourself, so that you can be the soulmate that they need, so that you can be the person that they need, but also that you need in your life as well, because you are incredibly important too. And that can enable you to move forwards together. That is how we move forwards together. We have to do our own healing. Okay. Everyone wants the other person to change. Oh, this person, you know, my partner needs to do this. They need to change in that way. They need to stop doing this. They need to start doing that. Well, what about you? What about things you need to change, you need to do? Look inwards, because a lot of the issues actually come from you. When someone annoys you, it may well be your issue, not theirs. Okay. So there's some self-care, some self-love, which is absolutely necessary, I would say, on Tuesday. It's an interesting day, quite a spiritual energy, I would say, as well. Quite a spiritual energy in relationships as well, which doesn't mean that we're not going to argue, because goodness me, arguments can be very revelatory when it comes to our spiritual path. Our spiritual path on earth is so messy. That's why most people don't recognise it for what it is, because they think, how can arguing with my partner be spiritual? Well, that could be a really important spiritual lesson. They might be showing you something in yourself, and then you can go, oh, that's what I need to work on. Possibly, maybe. And another 6 coming out there, and that just fell out as I was trying to put these back down over here. You might have noticed a second ago. So more 6 coming out. So we've got 3 6s now, and that's not bad, don't worry. 6 is the number of the heart, the sacred chalice. So the heart is, again, front and centre. But it really wants attention. It really wants attention. Could be the physical heart. It could be that your health, you actually need to take care of your heart. Maybe it's time to make some dietary or lifestyle changes. Maybe it's time to do some healing on your heart and higher heart chakra. I would suggest that for everybody. Yeah, some relaxation. Maybe time for a massage, because I'm feeling some tension today as well. It'd be a really good day to relax the body, to maybe get in a jacuzzi or hot tub or something. Just really try and relax those muscles. Otherwise, you know, you can end up with a headache, end up feeling a lot of tension. And I feel like releasing the tension from the body can help as well to release some of those pent-up emotions today. So, from the Money Oracle, we have Golden Opportunity. So that is interesting. So there is something that could be a real opportunity today, and it could just be our fear of success, our fear of failure, or in a critic, for example, that's holding us back from it. Okay, so there is something that we could have, and it comes in on 15, which in the tarot is the Devil. And what's interesting about the Devil card is you have a man and a woman, traditionally pictured on the card, who are sort of chained up to this statue of the devil or edifice of the devil. but the chains are so loose they could literally unhook themselves and walk away. Okay, and that is the case as well with the aspects of us that try to trip us up and hold us up. They are not indefeatable. They're actually quite easy to deal with in a way. We can recognise them and go, wait a minute, that's all that's holding me back here. And if we can learn to observe them and see them for what they truly are, we can actually achieve a lot more than we ever thought possible. Great fortune. Wow. So financially, there's some real opportunity today. Very expensive. Expensive. Oh, very expensive. Very expensive opportunities today. All right. Expensive is the word that came into my mouth. That's the one I'm going to say. Financial experts and advice. So it may be time to actually get some financial advice, particularly I want to say if you want to buy a house or something today. Or there could be an expensive lesson if you don't get the right advice. You know, make sure you've got the advice in the backup and you're not making bad decisions that are driven by the inner critic, perhaps, or by the inner saboteur, I want to say, because there are real financial opportunities, maybe opportunities at work today. Make sure you're getting the advice, doing the right thing and not acting from a wounded aspect of you. Yeah, that would be a real shame. Right. Astrology dice. Okay. Let's have a look for Tuesday. What have we got here then? Neptune. 8th house. Virgo. Interesting. So Neptune, the planet of illusions, of dreams, okay, very nebulous energy, and Virgo, who's intensely practical, the mind, the thinker. Interesting that we would have both together. Virgo is very critical as well, can be very critical, very analytical, but particularly critical to me, Virgo would always represent the critic if I were to pick a sign. And it feels as though the things that we criticise ourselves about are completely nebulous and fake. They're just illusions. And so I feel very much, because with the 8th house here, which is death, birth and taxes, it's change, transformation. I feel we have an opportunity today to really transform the way we look at ourselves, the way we understand ourselves. The inner critic that criticises us, that voice within us that I've been talking about this whole time, it's beautifully represented here in the astrology dice. We no longer have to criticise ourselves, sabotage ourselves and say, oh, this is true, therefore you can't do that. This is true, therefore I won't do this. This is true, therefore I'll fail at that. It's not true. I think there's going to be a real sweeping away of old beliefs that is potential today. Okay, it won't just happen. I think we will have to work on it to make it happen. But Virgo is very analytical as well, so I think we will be in the right mindset to be able to do it. So again, it's a great day for working on yourself. It's a great day for meditation, for contemplation, for working with a counsellor, for working on our stuff, our issues, particularly the voices that tell us that we're not good enough. I feel there could be a real overhaul of all of that, which would be very, very positive indeed. So that's a really great omen. Transformation is absolutely possible. Transformation within the mind, I feel. And it feels like that's one of the themes this week as well. Transformation within the mind, so that we can become more healthy, psychologically speaking. Because who's completely healthy in the society we live in? A bloody lunatic asylum. The way that we're told we're supposed to act and things that are supposed to make us happy, most of it's a pack of lies. The lunatics are running the asylum. Many of the things that we're told and taught are utter lies, okay, or half-truths, or things that we're told to manipulate us as a species. And I think we can really sweep away a lot of those lies. I feel there will be communications coming through as well today, again, from the star nations, from beings from other planets, really helping us to get a clear picture on what's actually the truth in this world. And I think that will play out on the world stage as well, really uncovering lies that we've been told, that the mist, the wool that's been pulled in front of our eyes can finally be pulled away and burned on the 8th house. Okay. Real phoenix energy here. Phoenix rising from the flames. It's time for a fresh start within. Time for a fresh start within the mind, within the perception of the world and of the self. Yeah. So let's move on to Wednesday now. And we are on to Wednesday. Here are Wednesday's cards. We have number 5, Unity, Archangel Sandalphon, traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organisations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. We have number 8, Helpless and Hopeless. And we have number 3, Intention behind a mask. Okay. So some interesting energy on Wednesday. It does feel like it may be a difficult day, but it doesn't have to be. Even if we are feeling like we can't move forwards, like there are problems that we can't overcome. Maybe you're feeling stuck between a rock and a hard place. I always think with this path, with this card, you've got like 2 paths going off up these steps, and none of them looks very happy because on both sides you've got a big mountain and oh my goodness, and it can seem like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. There are no good no good options, no good choices, or no good oysters for some reason, I was going to say. And that number 8 can make it feel like your problems never end, that they're never ending. It's just too much, it's too overwhelming, it's too exhausting, it's a very, very exhausting number 8 when it's out of balance. But the help is here if you think to ask for it. So on Wednesday, I want to say ask for help, ask for support. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone older and wiser or who knows more than you do. Sometimes it's just a case of finding somebody to hold the space for you, just to help you, just to sort of hold your hand, metaphorically speaking. I remember after a particularly horrible breakup, I was actually moving out of the home I'd shared with my ex. And I had a friend come over, and she had a small baby, so she couldn't really do very much. She couldn't really lift anything or carry anything because she was looking after her little one. And I remember her saying, well, I'm really sorry, I don't feel like I've really done very much at the end of the day. I don't feel like I helped very much. And I said to her, no, you did. You really, really helped me. Just you being there. I don't know what it was. I couldn't quantify it at the time. And now I would call it holding the space, because energetically she was there physically supporting me in that space. And her energy was what kept me going that day, or I couldn't have done it. I was exhausted, and I would or cried out, and you know how it is under those circumstances. You just have no energy, you have no motivation. And if you have a loving presence there with you, it can just somehow renew your physical energy. And that's what she did for me. And that's what someone else can do for you. Even in a difficult situation, someone can just hold the space for you, just be there physically, energetically support you, even if they're not actually doing anything, not actually providing any advice or solutions, just helping you by being that supportive presence. That can make such a big difference. So, and we have behind a mask as well. Whose intentions are hidden? Who actually has bad intentions towards you? Is it you? Are you hiding who you truly are? Are you hiding because you don't think people will like the real you? This is definitely a card that speaks of dishonesty. Not always with bad intentions, though. That's the thing. Very often we are not truthful about who we are because we're ashamed, because we think people won't like us, because we're lacking self-worth, so many reasons. Or is somebody not being truthful with you? And again, this can be at the beginning of a relationship, particularly if somebody wants to get together with you. We all are on our best behaviours, aren't we? When we're at the beginning of a romantic relationship or a potential relationship, we want to show the other person the best of us, and we hide the darker aspects that we don't want them to know about. And not necessarily a particularly helpful thing to do, and it can cause a lot of problems later on down the road. So yeah, the need for mentors, the need for people to support you, people who agree with you or who support you in your views, in your actions, whatever it is. I think they will be incredibly important on Wednesday. Your support network, you will need them, no matter how small they are. Even if it's just like one person and a cat, you will need that support network. I think Wednesday's energy feels quite challenging, feels quite difficult. I think we may be presented with options that we don't have all the information, so we don't really feel like we can take the we can make the decision, and that's incredibly difficult. When you're faced with a decision, you have to choose, and you've got a timescale, but you don't actually know which the best decision is because you don't have enough information to make that decision. That can be incredibly difficult, very, very nerve-wracking, very frightening. So there's quite a disempowered energy, I want to say, on Wednesday. And I wanted to say, despite that, just keep going anyway. Keep going anyway, because it will be all right. And number 8 reminds us, keep going anyway. Okay, if it's a decision, it's just a choice, it's just a decision. Okay, there are always things that can change afterwards. We can always make different decisions later. If you don't know, you don't know. You can only do the best that you can with the information that you have at that moment in time. And nobody can ask anything more of you than that. And if they do, that's not fair. And I say this often to clients, you know, when we're looking back on something that, you know, maybe they feel bad about a decision they took. And I said, look, you did the best you could with the information that you had at that point in time. All right. You tried to make the best decision. You didn't know all the outcomes. You didn't know everything that was going to happen. But you tried. You did your best. Your intention was good. You know, that's all we can ever ask of ourselves or anyone else. Oh, I love this. I just picked up the spirit message cards, and on the bottom, no mud, no lotus. I really love that. And I want to remind you, yes, no mud, no lotus. The lotus can't grow without mud. Okay, we cannot grow into the beautiful spiritual beings that we evolve into, and that we, you know, we gather all this learning and wisdom throughout our lives, and we can't do that without going through some shit. Okay, unfortunately we have to experience all kinds of different things, and that's just the nature of this reality that we live in, this duality that we live in. There is good and bad, there is light and shadow. It is what it is. It's okay. You know, you're doing your best. That's all anyone could ask of you. Okay. Of course, there are people who will ask more than your best, but that's unfair and unrealistic. Okay, so everybody's teaching you something about yourself. Ah, yes, that's a good one, actually, continuing the theme of self-exploration, self-understanding, and looking at the wounded aspects of self as well, because you find that when you have a wounded aspect of the self, very often it's a wounded part of the inner child, other people in the world around you will reflect that back to you. So you'll keep having the same experiences or the same thing on the same theme. You know, experiences along a theme about a specific thing or a specific feeling, things that make you feel the same way and make you feel disempowered or that make you feel unworthy, you know. And these people are reflecting back to you what needs to be healed. And that's where the blessing is, that's where they're actually helping us. We don't have to like them, we don't have to like their actions towards us, but that's what we can take even from the most difficult situations. There's always something we can take, there's always a blessing there. How can you build on this? 44-8. Yes. Guardian angel, 27. Oh, that is lovely. So there's that guardian angel presence. There is that that friend, that mentor, you know, that supportive person, whether it's just your guardian angel, if you don't have anyone in, you know, in real life to take care of you, to support you, your angels are always there. Always there. You can call on them at any time, particularly your guardian angel. I mean, that's literally their job. So they're probably already there, keeping an eye on you. 27-9, yes, great wisdom coming through there as well. So I think it's a really nice day to actually connect with your guardian angel or with your spirit guides as well, because I think they'll be very keen to chat on Wednesday. I think they will have a lot to say. I think they'll have a lot of inputs. They may actually be able to reach out to you. They may be trying to reach out to you. So if you feel like you're getting a message or like you keep saying the same words all over the place, they may well be trying to talk to you. They may well be trying to send you a message. Or if it's your angel, you might keep seeing little white feathers showing up all over the place where they shouldn't be. And that is definitely a sign from angels. So how can you build on this? Yeah. So Wednesday, we're asked the question, well, this is reality. Where can we go from here? How can we build from here? You know, because we have to keep going. Again, there's the infinity symbol, which is 8 on its side. Life doesn't stop. It keeps going. Even if we're struggling, even if we're suffering, it keeps going anyway. Yes, and sometimes our most difficult experiences are the ones that help us to move forwards, are the foundation of our very future. I mean, you know, have you ever seen so many spiritual teachers who have like we call it a leverage story, I think, in marketing. You know, it's the story of where you came from, all the terrible things they went through to actually find this path in the first place, and many of us did. You know, that is literally how so many of us find, you know, spirituality, religion, you know, our beliefs, whatever it is, our path. We normally don't find it through easy experiences, we normally find it through difficult ones. So that's important to remember. Star being starseed. Again, star nations, they're very much connecting with us at the moment. They very much want to be involved in our lives, which is interesting. So if that resonates for you, you can reach out to them in meditation, you know, ask them to send you a message, ask for their wisdom, for their blessings. You may be aware, I want to say, of Syrians today. So the Syrian connection is with ancient Egypt. Yeah, ancient Egypt cats. Very much connected to Sirius. Okay, let's have a look at the Romance Oracle. All right. So, Love angels. Interesting. Now that's interesting that that comes up on the behind a mask card, because if you are interested in somebody, or if you're getting to know somebody, going on a first date or second date, you know, if it's still early days, they may well be hiding a lot from you. Okay, and it can be very difficult to plan for a future with someone that you know very little about, or that you don't know all of the facts about them. That can make it very difficult in relationships. You know, sometimes you do need some honesty, you know, not everything at first, but pick me. Another 5. Okay, so we've got the 5s showing up there. Interesting. It does feel very calculated. Maybe it's you that's being very calculated. You don't want to let on who you really are to this person you're interested in. Or maybe it's a new job that you're interested in. You don't want your new boss to know things about you. Okay. Be careful is what I want to say. Be very, very careful. If you think they're not being truthful with you, if you're not being completely honest and truthful, if you're hiding a little bit too much, if you're hiding things that are actually important that perhaps you should be disclosing at the beginning of a relationship, I just want to add a little bit of caution here. Yeah, caution, because you may make the other person feel like you may make them feel like what's the expression? I already said stuck between a rock and a hard place, like they don't know how to proceed, because they feel like there's something they don't know, but they don't know what it is. They might feel uncomfortable with it. Energetically, it's almost like they will know you're not being quite truthful, or they might make a decision that they later regret and blame you for because they didn't have the full picture, you know, or vice versa. It could be you that makes the decision. So it's quite a tricky day. There's quite a lot of subterfuge going on for Wednesday. Flash in the pan. There's also a danger that any romance that starts on Wednesday might actually be quite short-lived as well. And that might be because people aren't being honest about who they genuinely are. And that can relate to jobs as well. You know, it's not just romantic relationships. I want to mention work here as well for some reason. Work relationships. But certainly there's love in the air. There's love in the air, but I would say be careful, be cautious. Make sure you're not misrepresenting yourself. Make sure the other person isn't misrepresenting themselves. And it might not be you, it might be a friend who's in this situation, but just so that you know, so that you can let them know what's happening in the energy. So let's have a look at the money oracle. Okay. Right, so sensible investments. Yeah, kind of that's the energy today. It's be sensible. Everything you do, be a bit sensible. Take your brain with you. Use your head. Love, money, health and joy. Yeah, I mean, remember the important things in lucky number 8. Oh, interesting. So 8 really wants to make a showing today. So we had 8 on the helpless and hopeless card, also over here with the infinity symbol, because 8 is actually the infinity symbol on its side, of course. And the meaning of infinity ties in very much with the numerological meaning of number 8. It is about continuation, about endurance, about keeping going. So it is literally meaning infinity. So number 8 will be very meaningful today for whatever reason. It might be literally showing up that number 8 as well can be very helpful for prosperity. Okay, number 8 can really bring great riches. That's another thing that we can associate with it, but flash in the pan. Yeah, be careful, because the energy today could be very temporary. It might seem like there's a very, very wonderful opportunity, but it may not be all it seems to be, or it may only be around for a very short amount of time, or both. Okay, so beware of con artists, I want to say, on Wednesday. Remember what is actually important to you. Love, money, health and joy. I want to say remember what's actually important to you, the things that actually matter in your life. You know, don't park your morals so that you can have a relationship with someone. You know, don't do the wrong thing for seemingly the right reasons. All right, and be very, very sensible when it comes to money, and when it comes to investing your time and energy in people as well. I want to say be very, very careful, very sensible here. So let's get some numerology dice. These ones. Got these 3 today. Wednesday. Keep that there. We have number 3, number 1, and number 1. Nice little bit of symmetry there, 1, 3, 1. Okay, so number 1, I do want to say first and foremost, do put yourself first, okay, but for the right reasons. It feels like you may have lots of ideas today. You may really want to charge ahead with that number one energy. Number one wants to get going. It's got a plan. It's like, yeah, I want to shoot ahead like an arrow. And we have got number one either side of number three, which is the blueprint. Okay, and we have got 3 dice in total as well, which brings in number 3 as well. So it really feels like a day of planning, or a day of scheming. For some people, it may actually be scheming. It is planning, but it is actually wanting to achieve something. There's definitely a sense of wanting to achieve something today, and that's where the caution comes in of feeling helpless because you can't achieve the thing you want to, or because you're going to have to be dishonest to achieve it, or you feel someone else is being dishonest with you. Interesting old energy with the 2 arrows here. Also reminds me of the story of the 2 arrows or the 2 daggers, which is a story I learned out over the weekend actually from my mindfulness meditation teacher. And he was saying about the 2 arrows or the 2 daggers. And number 1 is represented by an arrow in numerology because it shoots out of the void. It is the first number that literally shoots out of the void. And it has a spiky end like an arrow. But the 2 arrows or the 2 daggers, basically one is pain and one is suffering. Okay, so the first one is pain because stuff's always going to happen in life. You know, something happens, you hurt yourself, you fall over, somebody dies, you know, whatever it is, you know, that's the pain caused by the first dagger. The second dagger is a little bit different. The second dagger is the one that we use to beat ourselves up with afterwards. Okay, so pain happens, but suffering is optional. It's basically the story. So the second dagger would represent, for example, thoughts that we have about something afterwards. Oh, I'm so stupid, I can't believe I did that, is stabbing yourself with that second dagger. Okay. Or having an argument with somebody who isn't even there. You're stabbing yourself with that second dagger. You're causing your own suffering about something that isn't even happening. There's somebody that isn't even there. Okay, by ruminating about it, by beating yourself up about things. It's particularly beating yourself up about things, I would say, but also being angry about somebody's choices, you know, going over it again and again and again. And I think everybody does this. It's very difficult not to use the second dagger, particularly in this day and age where we're pretty much encouraged to use it with the whole identity politics and victimhood nonsense. When you encourage people to play identity politics and to identify with a victim group, you are sharpening that second dagger for them. And that's incredibly sadistic. And it's masochistic as well for the people who are doing it to themselves. So I think that's very sad. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Because we also have 11 here when we put these 2 together. And 11, the pillars of the sacred temple. So there is a great opportunity for spiritual learning, ultimately, which can take us on to bigger and greater ideas from Wednesday. Interesting, also the 3rd day of the week. So let's move on to Thursday. So on to Thursday. This is Thursday the 6th of April, or Maundy Thursday. Right, our cards, we have the King of Water, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, cultured, open your heart and mind to those around you, trustworthy and heartfelt advice, charity work. Number 6, giving and receiving. Number 1, cycle, new beginnings. So these are some interesting cards, particularly after Wednesday's energy, which is really very challenging. Thursday kind of almost feels like a fresh start, like it's like a sigh of relief. Phew, thank goodness that's over and we don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. But it is, I think our hope, our positivity can return on Thursday. It's definitely a happier feeling card where we're going to feel able to give to others, whereas maybe on Wednesday there may have been something of a guarded feeling, I think, not wishing perhaps to give others our time, our money, our effort, maybe maybe feeling that we kind of needed to tuck in a bit. I feel like Thursday we do feel able to be generous again. There is this energy of feeling able to be generous from the heart again, whether it's money, time, staff, effort, energy, attention, whatever it is. There's a much more heartfelt energy coming through with the King of Water here as well. It does feel like there could be somebody in your life who is being very kind, very generous to you to actually give you a leg up or towards something that you want to achieve, or somewhere where you're a little bit weaker in your life, something that you're not very good at. Maybe you need some help, advice, encouragement. It is there, absolutely. There's a very innocent feeling, I want to say, on Thursday with this little baby here, the new beginnings, and then the lovely fresh flowers. And the sunshine, this little baby's like radiating with joy and light. It's a very joyful card. That's how that's how you might feel if you've been meditating for a while. So yeah, beautiful day for meditation, beautiful day for charity work, for helping people, for volunteering. Also, a very lovely day to ask for help with new beginnings, I want to say. There's a lot of support here around you, or you might be the one choosing to support others today. So it's a very beautiful day. Lots of potential here, I would say. Let's have a look at the Spirit Oracle cards, because I want to look a bit deeper into this energy, because I'm really liking Thursday's energy. Even if we're feeling a bit tired or a bit down on Thursday, I think it's got quite a positive energy, so it won't be too much of a difficult day. I think it will be quite a nice day, actually. There could be some good connections that we make with other people, maybe sort of putting the feelers out. Maybe we're putting the feelers out to look for people to work with us, or to collaborate with us, or to help and support us, or vice versa. You might be looking to coach or help someone. You might be looking to have a coach or have someone help you. So, let's see what we've got. What does love mean to you? Oh, second time out this week. What does love mean to you? What does it mean? That's interesting. Some existential questions coming up, I think, when it comes to love. And that's not just romantic love, of course. I want to go to the bigger concept of love. What does it mean to you? What is it to you? Because we have this eternal number 8 here as well. We may be asking ourselves questions in our relationships, I feel. We may be questioning the very nature of the universe on Thursday. And then we have what is truth and where does it lie? So this is quite a philosophical... That's the second time out as well for that one, I think. Quite a philosophical day on Thursday, and I think we'll have the energy and the time and space to be philosophical, because we will feel more positive, more supported on Thursday. So maybe there is that space, that room, to actually think about some of the bigger themes of the universe and why we're here, what things mean, and maybe talk to others about that as well. And I'm just noticing my throat and heart chakra is activating, so I feel the heart chakra going to be very much open and activated today, so you may find yourself particularly compassionate, coming from kindness and compassion today, or that might be something that you're interested in, studying loving kindness or empathy, or how to be more compassionate to other people, how to help other people. Maybe you're drawn to work to for a charity, donate to a charity, something like that could definitely be a theme on Thursday. Very beautiful. And there is this theme of new beginnings, so there is potential for new beginnings here, whether it's a, this cycle card, whether it's a new relationship, a new project, a new job, a new stint helping a charity. I mean, who knows? Who knows what it could be? Learning a new musical instrument, a new hobby, pastime, interest. But it's a very innocent energy, a very beautiful innocent energy, kind of like beginner's mind, I want to say here. So again, it's a beautiful day for spiritual practice, particularly with a view to presence, to living in the now. What brings you happiness and joy? These are all very big questions coming up, all very big. Oh, I don't believe it. How can you build on this again? All very big philosophical questions coming up. I do shuffle these. I shuffle these all the time. And how can you build on these questions? I want to say there's these 3 big questions to ask. What brings you happiness? What does love mean to you? What is the truth of your life? Where does it lie? What is truth? And how can you build on all of that? It feels very much like you're being challenged to review, build, grow your spiritual practice, grow your spirituality. Maybe sending inspiration. Maybe it's time to go on a retreat. Maybe it's time to explore your spirituality, go to a church, go to, whatever religion you're interested in, or whatever spirituality you're interested in. It does feel like a very, very big nudge, asking you to ask yourself some very big questions. Or it may be that you're part of a religion and you're actually questioning some of the things that they teach you. Maybe you don't agree. And I get that. I do, believe me. I grew up in England, where you kind of have Christianity forced on you at school, and I didn't like it one bit. I didn't agree with half of the things they told us. I didn't like it at all. Didn't resonate for me whatsoever. Didn't work at all. It's only when I got older some of it resonates for me now. I think most of the concepts are pretty sound, but how people implement, I can't be doing with that. So I actually want to go to this one next, the money and the money oracle. Let's have a look at money, career, finances, work. It does feel like your work today is more on a spiritual, philosophical level, though. I keep going back to that word philosophy. It seems really important. Maybe study, maybe reading a book. You are already abundant. So again, very philosophical theme coming through here. Gold and silver coins. Interesting. And coming through on 11, so wisdom. I want to say maybe an offering is needed. Maybe an offering is something you're inspired to give. Maybe there's a ceremony for you to do. It could simply be as simple as throwing a coin in a well, in a wishing well or something, you know, but there is something connected to money, some sort of offering I feel that could be helpful to you, or maybe donating to a religion, a spirituality that you really like. That could be something to do today as well, because it's really opening up. I want to say the inner temple is really opening up this week. There's some real spiritual progress happening. It's very exciting, very, very interesting to watch. And with you are already abundant, yes, this reminder that, look at this baby. What does this baby lack? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, in beautiful, perfect abundance. And he knows it. And he knows it. He is perfect. He is abundant. Cash flow, energy flow, yes, reminding us of some of the deeper truths of the universe, that money is just an energy of exchange. That's all. It's just an energy of exchange. It's a representation of energy. And again, sensible investments. We're getting lots of repeating cards here, which I'm finding quite curious. So lots of repeating themes. So for Thursday, I feel like it could be literally that things repeating, themes repeating, the same questions being asked over and over again, or maybe questions that you asked yourself in the future. Okay, guides, interesting choice there. Questions you asked yourself in the future. Questions you asked yourself in the past that are now coming up again to review because maybe you don't agree with past you. Maybe the decisions that you made back then you don't agree with anymore. Maybe the beliefs that you held some time ago you don't agree with anymore, and that's completely normal, I think. Our beliefs can grow and develop and change over time, but they change with wisdom, with experience. Hopefully with good experience, or with, well, experiences aren't always good to give us wisdom, let's be honest, but speaking from personal experience, but from our own awakening, from our own knowledge. It's a fascinating energy today, absolutely fascinating. It makes me want to study philosophy, makes me want to talk in very philosophical terms. So let's have a look at the Romance Oracle. Let's take a look at relationships today, what they're doing on Thursday. Okay. Very drawn to crystals as well. I just went to this one here. This is a quartz crystal point here. I'm very drawn to crystals on Thursday as well. So if you're drawn to work with them, pay attention to that, because it does feel like it would be a theme on Thursday. Clear quartz in particular can be helpful because it can really help to clear your mind. It is an energy crystal that clears all others, clears energy. You might want to actually work with a crystal point like that one. It's just clear quartz. It's very easy to get hold of. They're not expensive. Such a powerful crystal that clears everything else around it. If you put other crystals with it, it literally cleanses their energy. Or you might just want to hold it. I'm very drawn to hold it up to my third eye right now. Just hold it up to my third eye. I'm getting the words crystal clear vision to give you crystal clear vision. And these cards want to come out because they've fallen out. Oh, you're kidding me. Possibly, maybe. We had that one earlier. But coming in on the heart. So it's almost like the heart wants to review some things. It's not sure how it feels, how it thinks anymore. And this could be a theme in relationships, in friendships. You know, I'm not sure I want to play this role in this relationship anymore. You know, there may be a need for change, for review in relationships, how we act towards other people. Codependency could be highlighting some very unhealthy habits and tendencies that we have, you know, which aren't necessarily our fault. You know, people who are codependent, they're not codependent on purpose. They're codependent because they had some terrible, terrible life experiences early on. All right. And they may not even know that they're codependent, because most codependents have no idea. And it's sort of almost thrown at people like an insult to call them codependent. Which I find very harmful, very unhelpful. You know, people aren't codependent because they're weak. They're codependent because they've been through terrible, terrible times, and that's how they cope. Okay, it's a very, very difficult thing to have to deal with. You know, no shade here, no criticism, no shade here. And it can be difficult to spot. But there may be some codependent tendencies. I think we all have some. to be honest. I think everybody has some codependent tendencies, particularly in the modern world. There's so few people who are mentally healthy. And the theme of long-term relationships as well. Maybe there's a long-term relationship in your life. It's not necessarily a romantic one. Maybe there are some really unhealthy habits that need to change. Maybe you're thinking, actually, I'd like things to be different with my parent, my sister, my cousin, my uncle, grandparent, child, you know. Maybe, yeah, maybe there is something unhealthy to look at here. And I think this would be very much the day, very much the energy to be making that decision, to be thinking about that, to be considering how things can be different. I think how things can be different, because if it's not making you happy, if it's not making them happy, you know, you might be making each other miserable. It's definitely something that can change. Something needs to change. And that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have anything to do with each other anymore. It doesn't necessarily mean a breakup of a long-term relationship. It might do, but it doesn't have to. All right. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater isn't the only option. Unfortunately, in this kind of instant gratification, I want it all now society that we live in, that seems to be presented as the solution far too much of the time, if you ask me. Oh, leave them, break up with them. Well, what about working on the relationship? So where can we work on relationships? Where can we work on ourselves today and ask those big questions so that we truly understand what it is that we feel, that we believe, and that we want from life? Because if we don't know what we want, we don't know which direction we're going in either. And there's this gorgeous budding energy here that says, look, you can go in any direction now. You can have a new beginning if you want it, but you have to decide what it is that you want. And that could be the most difficult thing. And if you abdicate that responsibility, don't be complaining about where you end up. So I want to bring in some numerology here today. So let's have these ones. The triangle here is desperate to come out, my little tetrahedron. Come on then. Come on then. All right, Thursday. Thursday's energy. Whoa! 10 escaping over here. All right, that was close. 80, 18, and number 1. Number 1 at the top of the tetrahedron there, and then 18, 10, and 80. I wanted to say 18, 12 overture then. Tchaikovsky. 18, 10, 80, 1, 8, 1, 0, 8, 0. Interesting. So that's a combination of 3 different numbers that we've got of all our dice here. We've got 1, we've got 8, and we've got 0 in different combinations. Now that is interesting. So number 1 we have over here on this card, the New Beginnings card. Number 8 we had yesterday, I think. It is the ongoing theme of eternity, of the eternal soul, the eternal being. Who are we? What are we? And we bring in the 0 as well. We bring in the unlimited potential of 0 here. So there's huge potential today, real potential to go in a new direction if we are brave enough to make those changes within ourselves, if we are brave enough to pick up the gauntlet. I want to say that there's a very transformational energy. There are new beginnings here with these 0s, with the 10 and the 80. There's a huge potential for a new direction, for big changes to not necessarily happen today, but to begin today. I feel there are big changes in relationships which are possible to begin today. But it is up to us. It's up to us to be brave enough to actually take that step. And not everybody will be. And that's okay. Not everybody will want to. Oops. But it is absolutely possible. Again, a very sacred energy coming through. Connected very strongly to number 8 again. So I will say look out for patterns of number 1, 8 and 0 today. I think that could be very interesting to notice and to see. So let's move on to Friday. So on to Friday. Friday's cards, we have the 5 of water, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, and crying over spilt milk. We have number 1, new vitality, and we have number 2, events, loss. Okay. Definitely some difficult themes this Friday. Yeah, what seemed possible on Thursday may seem impossible on Friday. And it can literally, I mean, that's this week's energy. It's up and down, up and down. Oh my goodness. Which does provide a lot of opportunity, I would say, for spiritual discovery, for deeper understandings. It does provide opportunity for us to explore our emotions and how we act and react in different situations. I want to say, because there genuinely may be some things going wrong on Friday. This is a difficult day. The Five of Water and the Loss card together, yeah, we may well be losing out on certain things being taken away from us. But we're not left with nothing. I want to say with the Five of Water, 3 cups have fallen over and 2 are still standing. And we need to focus on the 2 that we still have. So that is the message very much. And sometimes we have to go in a new direction with those 2 because we have 2 now instead of 5. So we have to rethink. It may be a day to sort of pivot, to rethink your life, to rethink how you're going to do things. You know, stuff always happens. It's just a fact of life. Shit happens. Okay, it's just how life is. It is this realm. Okay, there's always going to be some asshole or something that goes wrong or somebody who dies. It's completely normal. We live in this realm of duality. There's always going to be stuff that isn't ideal happening to us, and it's how we choose to react, how we choose to respond that is the most important here. So there could be some very difficult events going on a personal level today. Or it might be quite minor, you know, but it might be that we're feeling quite emotional, so maybe we're blowing it out of proportion, or maybe someone else is having a situation where they're blowing it out of proportion and we're like, actually, you haven't actually lost very much, it's just 3 cups of water have fallen over. You know, you may have to be, you may be dealing with a drama queen who's actually making a big fuss. Oh no, my boat's gone out. It's like, yeah, but that water is literally waist deep. You could go and get it. It's not very far. Hurry up, you idiot. You know, or you may be faced with your own incompetence. You may be faced with your own mistakes today, and that can be very difficult, very challenging. And we do not want to deal with that. You know, we might want to cry and blame other people. There's definitely a tendency to blame today. Oh, goodness me. I think it's going to be very interesting to see on the world stage as well, in the media, in the news, in governments, what they're actually up to on Friday, because it feels like there's a lot of blaming going on. But it seems like silly things that people are complaining about, that blaming about, that could actually be fixed, could be resolved, and no one's doing it, which is really frustrating. So that'll be interesting to see what's going on Friday politically and in the world. But there is this new vitality, this new energy coming in, these new ideas flooding into the system on Friday as well. So it feels like whatever these problems are, they're really pale in comparison to the positivity coming in, the possibilities coming in, if we choose to see them, if we choose to recognise them, which of course the mainstream media won't. Okay, which of course the negative people in your life won't. The negative Nellies won't want to hear that. They want to have a pity party. All right. They don't want to hear about, oh, well, yes, that happened, but actually this is happening and this is really great, so let's focus on this instead. Let's aim towards that instead. Let's do something new, do something different. It's actually very, very exciting news as possible on Friday, and it may be sort of muted by people's moaning and complaining. Okay, or it might be something, you know, genuinely that you have, you know, a reason to complain about. However, complaining doesn't actually help anyone. Okay, it's that second dagger again. We're stabbing ourselves with the second dagger, making ourselves suffer over and over again, which is unnecessary. So, let's have a little look at the Spirit Oracle cards here. All right. Let's see what we've got for Friday. All right. So this is Good Friday here as well. So people may or may not be working today. Body soul alignment. Spirit is on the line. Answer the call. Oh, interesting themes. This is quite spiritual energy. We're all unique and we are all one. Ah, yes. There's a nudge here, I think, for people working together, which people sometimes misconstrue and think, oh, that's communism. But you probably don't want to go down that route. It doesn't have a good history. The Spirit is on the line, answer the call. Yeah, it does very much feel like Spirit wants to guide us, and it's like almost these panpipes of this musical, beautiful, energetic music coming through here. It's almost like they're like the Pied Piper. Spirit is like the Pied Piper trying to lead us forwards in the right direction. If we listen to the music, if we pay attention, we can follow. But only if we are in alignment with ourselves. If we are out of alignment, if we are angry, living in victimhood, we won't be able to hear the music, I want to say. So this is only for some people. Not everyone will hear it. Some people will stay in misery and loss and grief. And I want to say unfounded grief, you know, not genuine grief, because that's not fair. But people will stay in misery, stay in sulking, refusing to grow, refusing to move forwards. But those who can hear the music today, I think there's a very a beautiful new opportunity coming in, very interesting information from Spirit coming in, and this reminder that we are all one, this beautiful spiritual reminder that we are actually all one, we are all connected. And I feel there is a suggestion of a new way that we can all work together, that we can support each other, maybe new communities springing up, new community projects springing up, new ideas on the community level coming up, maybe agorist ideas coming forwards, maybe community projects near you or in different parts of the world and being copied in other parts of the world. It does very much feel like there is a reminder for man to help man, for humanity to help each other, to support each other, to genuinely build for the future. Okay, and we can't do that if we're too busy crying over spilt milk. All right, we cannot build for the new if we're too busy crying over the old. And it is very important now, I feel, for humanity or on the world's level, that we do start to build the new world, the new for ourselves, not the new that the dark controllers want us to have, you know, where we have to eat bugs and live in 15-minute cities. Right, none of that nonsense, no. The communities of freedom and choice and kindness and compassion, and where things where there is no force and everything is voluntary. Okay, so a season for everything, cash flow, energy flow. So yeah, there is a season for everything, and this is almost like a new season beginning, which is curious because we're only just moving into spring, but it's almost like a new season. Interesting that it falls on Good Friday, because it does feel to me like there is some sort of symbolism there. There's a parallel we could draw with Good Friday. A season for everything, yes. It's okay. Even when something bad happens, there's a time for this. It's okay. We live in a world of duality. There will always sometimes be bad things happening, and that's okay. There is a time for that, and there's a time to be up and there's a time to be down. Okay, there's a time to be depressed and there's a time to be gloriously happy. There's a time to cry, there's a time to laugh. Okay, or do both at the same time, why not? Cash flow, energy flow, yes. And it does feel like this new flow of energy brings in a new flow of abundance as well. So there is financial opportunity here, I feel, so for some people, maybe connected to property, maybe connected to new and innovative business ideas, perhaps connected to cryptocurrencies. It's something very new and innovative because it's got real Aquarian energy around it. I'm talking really fast now because it's coming through really quickly. So the energy is quite fast. You can do better than this in golden opportunity. There it is. The golden opportunity is there. I don't know exactly what it is on Friday, but there's something. If only we can see it. If only we can choose to take part in it. And I feel it's more of an energetic saying yes than like a financial investment or something. It feels more like energetically saying yes to something, or saying yes to participating in a project or something, rather than actually paying for something, if that makes sense. It feels more abstract than concrete today, but it's a reminder that yes, things can be better. You can do better than this. Things can be better for you. You don't have to live in poverty. You don't have to live in difficulty and struggle, and many people do right now in all parts of the world, including the first world, and that's just so crazy to me. There's really no reason for that. Well, no good reason for that. Of course there are reasons for it, but there's no good reason for it. Lots of bad reasons, lots of manipulation. And I think it's stepping away from the manipulative systems actually into a new way of doing things. It will be possible on Friday. We'll start to see the ideas, the aspects of it start to show up in our life in various different ways. So fascinating day. Love of money, love and money. Yes, that is the question. Wow. Okay, it's kind of a gold digger card, that one. If you have a love of money above everything else, above people, then you've got problems. And that is the problem, that the dark controllers, that the people who call themselves authorities, the majority of them have this problem. They are money sick. Okay, they love money above everything. And it's okay to love money, but when you love it above people, that's when we have a problem. And that's the shift we need to see changing on 55-10-1. And I do feel that there is a whole change in mindset when it comes to money actually being catalysed, I would say. Is that a word? On Friday, I feel this is the catalyst day for it. So maybe it's a change of a whole monetary system as well, but not towards one of greed that holds people down, although there will be people trying to implement that. But it does feel like a big shift to a new monetary system on Friday, so watch out. Make sure it's the freedom one that you want. Are you ready? Are you ready indeed? Yeah, get your shoes on, get your skates on, be ready. Don't sit around crying. Okay, pack your bag and be ready to go. It's going to be an exciting ride. I really do think so. And there could be new people showing up in your life, romantically or as friends, who will be walking this new path with you. New home and hearth, yeah. So it could literally be moving to a new location with new people around you. That could be very, very positive or very negative, depending on the motivation that you're coming from, whether you're coming from victim energy or whether you're choosing to come from empowerment, from self-sovereignty. So lots and lots of questions to ask yourself there. Yeah. Make sure that your foundation is one of self-sovereignty, of self-responsibility, of making your own choices, not of playing the victim and saying, oh, it's not my fault, the world is happening to me. No, you are making choices, you are living your life, it is not happening to you. You're far more empowered than even you think you are. Okay, so let's bring out some astrology dice. Okay. All right, Aquarius, of course. Sun in Aquarius and the 10th house. Fascinating. Okay, so the sun is the self, the identity, and the sun in Aquarius. Wow. I have my rising sign is Aquarius, so I vibe very much with the Aquarian energy, but Aquarians are so original, they're so different. So it is almost like a birth of a new self today, a new innovative way of being, new friends, new friendship groups, new ideas, new technologies, new communities are all possible, but connected to you directly. To us, we have the opportunity to directly be involved in them. Maybe we're the one creating them, maybe we're the one setting them up. And then with the 10th house, career, our career, is it time for a change of career? Is it time that maybe we stop worrying about our status, keeping up with the Joneses, our reputation? Does it really matter so much? You know, there's silly things that people worry about, like, oh, my credit score. Well, does that really affect you? Your credit score, really a number that somebody made up? Does it really affect you? Oh, well, it does if I need to borrow all this money from these banks. Well, what do you need to do that for? Banks aren't your friends. So, you know, there are all these parameters that we judge ourselves by, which are actually utterly meaningless. Utterly meaningless, you know, like the credit score, the social credit score that they brought in China, doesn't mean a damn thing. Some idiot comes up with an idea that, oh, this means you're a good person, this means you're a bad person, this means this person is better than you. Utter nonsense. It's just more things to worry the mind. It's more things to engage the ego mind so it is more worried, so that it's monopolizing your thoughts much more. Because if you have to use your ego mind all the time, it's very, very difficult to find peace, to step away, find peace within yourself. It makes it much more challenging for the average person to be able to do that. So it keeps people in a state of anxiety, fear, and disconnected more and more from their spiritual self, from their wisdom, from their peace inside, and therefore less able to do good things, make good choices for themselves, which spiritually would take them in the right direction, which ultimately would bring more freedom, more self-sovereignty. But they can't do that. It keeps them as low vibration when they're easy to control. And that's very sad. And this is exactly what we're being warned against today. Do not fall into the victim mindset of thinking that you have to do what somebody else says. It's very childish as well to want everybody else or somebody else to make all the decisions for you. Okay, oh no, I need mummy, daddy, government to decide this for me, to decide what my children need to learn. What? No, you don't. You know, let us not abdicate our responsibilities today. Let us be sovereign. Let us take full responsibility for our lives, because there are some wonderful, powerful opportunities on Friday. So let's move on to Saturday then. And looking at Saturday's cards, so Saturday the 8th of April, so it's Easter weekend. We have the Six of Water, memories from your history or childhood, issues regarding children, I can well imagine if they've eaten too much chocolate, romanticising the past. Number 6, third eye chakra, and we have number 7, intention, the honouring path. So, the honouring path does feel, again, like quite an emotional day. Particularly connected to children, but I want to say our own childhood as well. We could have some things coming up from our own childhood, some memories coming up here. Very, very, very much a feeling day. It's like the intuition and the heart working together today. We might not have a completely clear memory of things either. I want to say it could be a day where we think we remember what our childhood was like, but actually maybe there's a part of us saying, no, there was something wrong. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there was something that wasn't quite right, or something I've forgotten, or, and that's not the case for everyone. But we all have like difficult experiences. We all have some sort of, don't necessarily want to use the word trauma for everyone, but there's always some experience that was difficult, that was challenging, that maybe we haven't dealt with from childhood. Maybe we didn't get the help we needed at the time. So a very feeling day, lots of feelings coming up today. Yeah, I do think we're remembering the past with rose-tinted spectacles today. I do feel like very much idealising aspects of our past, aspects of our childhood. There's a certain ego that comes through here as well for some people as well. Particularly when I go to this card, because we've got 7, which is the number of the mystic, and the mystic can be very arrogant, because mystics can really believe that they're better than other people. Oh, well, I'm better than you because, I'm walking this path. I meditate every day, therefore I'm superior to you, that kind of nonsense. There is a temptation for some people to be a bit big-headed today, to act like others are inferior to them. But there's a lot of emotion in the system, so we could end up with problems. We could end up with arguments happening here. Could be a very, very challenging day. But, I mean, look at all this clapping going on. So there could be some people in the public eye being absolute dickheads, I think, today. More so than usual. Or really making a faux pas. I want to say maybe there's somebody, a celebrity or something, really making a faux pas about something, misconstruing something from the past that people actually remember. And they're like, no, that's not happened. Not what happened. But again, with the third eye here, it does feel like our intuition's quite heightened, like we have the ability to see beyond the veil today. We do have the ability to see through people's lies as well, or to see through our own mistaken memories of certain things. It does feel like on a level, Spirit are trying to guide us today. There is spiritual guidance happening. Okay, they are trying to help us, are trying to guide us, even if others are trying to lead us astray or even gaslight us about our past. It could be a parent saying, oh, that never happened. I never did that to you. Don't know what you're talking about. Or you're just making it up as usual. That you're exaggerating, or that kind of behaviour. It doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a partner, somebody manipulative in your life. There's a sense of manipulation here, a sense of arrogance. Or it could be putting somebody on a pedestal who doesn't deserve to be there. Or they could have put themselves on the pedestal, Quite a strange day. Very irritating day, I want to say. Very, very irritating energy. People are going to get on each other's nerves quite a lot on Saturday. It could be the kids getting on people's nerves because they're all excited about Easter and chocolates and, Easter egg hunts and can we do this? Can we do that? Can I buy this? Can you buy me that? Got kind of a stressful edge to it this Saturday, which is a shame. And I think we can actually step out if we can remember to step out, if we can remember to meditate, remember our spiritual practice, remember to take time out to breathe, to focus just on being in the now and not letting the monkey mind run away with us, not run away from us. Goodness, I'd love if it ran away, but run away with us. And we can find that calm and peace in the day, and it doesn't have to be quite so hectic, although it's got quite an irritating edge, so chances are it will be quite an annoying day in many ways, so be prepared for that. For some reason I also want to talk about allergies flaring up on Saturday. I guess we are coming into allergy season a little bit with April. I don't really know. I don't really suffer from allergies myself, but I want to talk about allergies as well, possibly flaring up. So there could be, could be some respiratory ailments in the system for some people, or struggling to breathe, struggling to, to deal with pollen or whatever it is that you're allergic to. And that could be stress related as well. Maybe stress-related physical reactions to certain things. So let's take a look at the Spirit Message Oracle. See what we've got here. We can have some different cards now. Okay, not the same ones over again. Oh, I don't believe it. How can you build on this? This one just won't go away this week. It's almost like everything that happens, it's like your teacher going, like when you're in language class and your teacher goes, make a sentence, and you're like, oh, for God's sake. How can you build on this? How can you build on this? Okay, this happened, right, how can you build on that? This happened, how can you build on that? This happened. Recurring theme this week. But it's really a theme of self-reflection and understanding how we can build on our past. Even the things that were painful and difficult, if we can understand them, integrate them and integrate that shadow, we can build from there, build on top of that, because the shadow becomes a part of us and it becomes part of our solid foundation. And that is an ongoing theme again on Saturday as well, that we can turn things that in the past we may have considered weaknesses or terrible things that happened to us, we can actually turn them into a very strong and stable foundation for ourselves. So let's see what else we have today. What brings you happiness and joy coming out again? And they're really labouring the point here. What brings you happiness? Oh, here we go. On the bottom, we've got sovereign being. This is what I was saying about self-sovereignty. What brings you happiness and joy? Growth starts small. Don't try to force it. Okay. Yeah, don't try to force it today. If it's a bit of a crappy day, just kind of go with it and get what you can out of the day. And if there are some like things from your past coming up, or maybe you're working with a counsellor, maybe you're just going through them in your own mind, trying to reframe, re-understand things, trying to put things in the right place in your mind. Remember that, you know, don't try to force it. Oh my goodness. Be gentle with yourself. Yes, it's great to be a sovereign being, to take full responsibility for your life and your shadow work that comes with that. But Rome wasn't built in a day. So growth starts small. It's step by step now. And focus on joy. Focus on what makes you happy, because that is the point of everything. That is the point of life after all. It is about what makes us happy. You know, what we can enjoy in this lifetime. There's lots to enjoy here. This can be a very, very fun place. And it's interesting because every time I look up at the camera that's filming here, I look at the phone screen and I keep seeing combinations of numbers. So earlier I saw 4444, and now I just saw 5555 because I'm recording this in parts, not all in like one long video. So I just want to give those numbers to you, 4444, and we have the 44 that keeps showing up, and 5555. Which again has been a theme. So yeah, interesting energy. Ignore the people who are being idiots, who are being, you know, egotistical today, and just focus on you. Just try to focus on you. And remember, don't try to overdo it. Rome wasn't built in a day. Watch out, eyes wide open. Yeah, this is what I was saying. It feels like somebody's trying to gaslight, not necessarily you, but someone around you, or they're trying to lie about what's happening. And this could be on the world stage, it could be a politician, a celebrity, an actor or something, or it could be just somebody in your circle, somebody around you trying to lie to you or lie to other people about things, something that happened. And it is for their personal gain, because again, love of money, love and money, and again 55, so there's that number theme, 55 coming out, 44, 55. So be careful, because there are people around on Saturday who really do not have good intentions. All right, there are people who may have been in your life for a long time because they've got a long-term relationship, but they do not have good intentions. Maybe it's your mother-in-law, you know, maybe it's a family member, a sister, a brother who you've never really trusted. You thought you liked them, but as time goes on, you're like, wait a minute, this person isn't actually very nice. They're not very good for me. And if they weren't family, I'd have nothing to do with them. So it may be time to reassess your boundaries with certain people in your life. Okay, if people are taking advantage of you in many ways, it could be financially, but certainly there's more deception going on here. But it's about it feels about somebody trying to rewrite history. That's what it feels like today on Saturday. So money, trappings of wealth. So again, I think it's a celebrity doing it. Paycheck to paycheck and golden opportunity. Yeah, all that glitters is not gold today. I want to say be very, very careful. Win, lose, spend. Yeah, be very careful with your money, with your investments, things you invest in today, things you pay a lot of money for. Eyes wide open. So trappings of wealth. Yeah, just because someone looks wealthy doesn't mean they are. Again, it's this kind of con artist energy that comes through that we had. Was it Friday? Was it Thursday? I forget. But there's this con artist energy that comes in again. So I feel this one is a little bit more distant, perhaps. It's different from the one we had previously. It could be more connected to government authorities, celebrities, someone like that, trying to make people believe something, or rewriting history, changing something. It's difficult energy to read, but it's very unpleasant energy. Win, lose, spend. Yeah, be very careful of your money on Saturday. Very, very careful. And paycheck to paycheck. Yes, again, there is this reminder. You do not have unlimited funds. All right. Most of us don't have that. We're not billionaires. It's all very well for people to preach to us from on high, either because they're rich or because they look like they're rich. They might not be. They might look rich and powerful and influential, but they might not be. Okay. Be careful. Make sure you make the decisions that suit your socioeconomic status, not the ones that somebody who has, for whom money is no problem, or who pretends money is no problem, says that you should be making. So the changes that they say you should be making. Okay, and that could be, again, on the world stage, or it could be national, international, or it could be, you know, a member of your own family trying to guilt you into doing something, or trying to say, oh, I've got this really good opportunity. Do you want to sign up and be an Avon rep? Or I don't know, whatever it is. And that's not a scam, but it's definitely not for everyone. Okay, you're going to end up losing more money than you make, for sure. Multi-level marketing. Watch out for that. So, where are we going next? We're going to go numerology dice. Okay. So, we have number 2, number 6, number 15. Oops, keep trying to flip over. And 70. Interesting. Oh, this is very interesting, particularly because it's Easter weekend. It's got real sort of religious overtones here. And I think, are we still in Ramadan as well this week as well? Just looking at my calendar. We're still in Ramadan. I think we are. Yes, until the 21st. So we're still in Ramadan as well. So it's quite a sacred time for many religions. 6, the heart. 2, the seesaw. 15. Oh. Now this is interesting. It does feel like we may be caught on a seesaw. There's a very tempting offer coming in on Saturday. A very tempting offer. And this is, I think, what they were trying to express to me here. Very tempting offer. Something our heart might really want. But we're going to have to be very, very careful about making the decision on number 2. Make sure that we can see both sides of it very clearly. And understand that it's not as urgent as it might be being made out to be. It's not as desperate or important it might be being made out to be. And I think with 70 can be really very devotional as a number, very, very beautiful. The mystic and the void. I want to say, take a step back and actually step into your spiritual practice, step into your spirituality, lean on your guides, lean on your angels today, because there may be somebody, again, this could be on a personal level, so on the micro level or the macro level, trying to make you do something for the wrong reasons, but it may have a very, very strong emotional charge attached to it, is what I want to say. So be very, very careful of your decisions, and I'd say lean into your spirituality, because that's where you will find peace and the truth. Okay, so let's move on to Sunday. So Easter Sunday, Sunday the 9th of April, our cards, we have number 15, ego, Archangel Jophiel, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. So I feel like there's a continuation of Saturday's energy coming in here. 9, rest and reconsider, that's good. And 6, events, milestone. Ah, yes, this is great. It feels like we're pulling out of the madness a little bit of Saturday's energy here. It does feel like we get a break on Sunday to actually think about things, to actually see what's actually what. Okay, so with the milestone card, it could literally be a milestone. It could be that we're celebrating an achievement, or it could just be that we get to pause and look back and get a much clearer picture on how far we've come, all the things that we've done, and that things maybe aren't as difficult or as dire or as unbalanced as other people may have been trying to tell us that they are in our lives. People who would like to manipulate us, who would like to lie to us, to gaslight us, to make us believe that the reality is different to how it actually is, or to how we perceive it. And we should always be very, very careful of anyone who tries to make us believe that our perception of reality is incorrect, that we can no longer believe the evidence of our eyes and ears. Okay, be very, very skeptical of people like that, because these are people trying to manipulate us. You should always be able to accept the evidence of your eyes and ears. Okay. So it is a nice day to actually take a rest as well. The rest and reconsider card is very much about taking a break, but it's taking a break with wisdom as well. So it's not just sleeping. It has a philosophical edge to it as well. It does feel like a lovely day for spiritual practice on Sunday. Of course, being a Sunday, that's not surprising. But I think things will be clearer to us. They will be clearer. It's kind of 2020 vision in hindsight today. I think we will look back and there might be some mistakes, maybe recent mistakes, and we think, oh goodness, I can't believe I did that. But I know better now, so it's okay. So I'm actually going to think about how I move forwards from here. You know, we might be looking back at a relationship, looking back at a job, looking back at maybe we were hoodwinked by somebody, maybe we were conned by somebody, you know. There is this energy today of thinking, of considering. Reconsidering is definitely the word for today. But seeing things clearly as well, seeing the good and the bad. All right, it's not just about all these terrible things happen. There's good as well. There's things that we've achieved, maybe seeing them more clearly for the first time, maybe actually appreciating how much we've achieved in our lives as well, because my goodness, people are very quick to point out all the things that we haven't done right or that we've done wrong or opportunities that we missed. But very few of us have been praised or praised adequately for the things that we have achieved, that we have done well. I think there's a lot of a lack of praise and support and acknowledgement for our true achievements, for our real achievements. You know, I've had acknowledgement for things that weren't achievements at all. And that always makes me feel weird. And then I've gone completely without any acknowledgement at all, or it's been like tumbleweeds for huge achievements where I've worked incredibly hard. And that's so confusing and so frustrating. I think as a human being, sometimes we need to sit down and give the accolades to ourselves. And I think that's so important. You know, we need to be able to congratulate ourselves, and it could be congratulating the inner child as well for things that we never received recognition for, which could have been incredibly difficult, very, very challenging experiences or things that we've strived for. Okay, that were just expected of us at the time, but when you look back at it as an adult, you think, oh my goodness, that's huge. That's really big. Okay, so let's take a look at the Spirit Message Oracle. What brings you happiness and joy? So this is a recurring theme. Again, we are being asked, what is it that you really want from life? What is it that makes you happy, joyful? What is your reality? What is real for you? What is joyful for you? Truly joyful, not just, oh, buying a new car. Okay, you might feel good for 5 minutes, but what brings you true, deep peace and joy? You are a divine being in human form, #truth. Yes, there's a reminder of our divinity here as well, and that we are spiritual beings and we require spiritual nourishment as well. We require spiritual practice if we are really to thrive. It's not all about the material stuff. It's not all about keeping up with the Joneses and things we're told will make us happy. So there's a very big reminder here from Spirit about our spiritual practice, and how that can actually make us feel so much better and live so much happier lives as well, I think. No mud, no lotus. And it doesn't matter where you think you are now, because I think a lot of people are put off from the spiritual path and they think, oh, it's too much, I won't do it, I'm too far gone. Nobody's too far gone. Every master was once a disaster. Okay, nobody's too far gone. Nobody's too far away from God. Okay, it's impossible. You can't be. No mud, no lotus. Yeah, in fact, it's the dark experiences that make us who we are, make us what we are, and that's absolutely okay. So there's a little nudge there to go a little bit deeper into your spirituality today, which is really lovely. Very, very nice. Lovely day for spiritual practice, for magical working, for communing with your guides, for meditation, for mindfulness, for Zen meditation, for psychic development, you know, whatever it is that floats your boat. Meditating with crystals. Just get in there. Bedford agrees. He's meowing outside. He's fine. Okay. I will let him in a minute, though, otherwise he'll just scream the place down. Okay. Children and family. So again, it is a day for family as well, and it might be nice to actually include your own family in your spirituality. Sacred soulmate, maybe your partner, you know, your soulmate. It may be a time for you to actually discuss your spirituality together. Maybe it's something you don't normally talk about. Maybe it's a subject that you disagree on or that you avoid. And that feels a shame, or maybe they take you away from your spirituality, and maybe you need to look at why that is. Shush, Bedford. Wisdom and experience on 44. So 44 coming in again. There is definitely a nudge here, I think, connected to family, partner, children, and our spirituality. Okay, what is it that they teach us? What wisdom do they help us to understand? And how can we enjoy our spirituality together? Can we help to lead our children on a more spiritual path, help them to find peace within their lives, maybe by teaching them to meditate or something? Maybe we thought, oh no, I can't do that, but actually I really like it for myself, but I don't share it with my children. Well, why not? Why don't you share it with them? Okay, mindfulness meditation is wonderful for children. Brilliant. That's a fantastic skill to teach them. It's a life skill, but also can help them to be calmer and to make better decisions. Why would you deny them that, for example? So yeah, it's interesting, the funny ideas that we have about ourselves, isn't it? And it's not necessarily just about children. It could be about sharing things with family and finding out that actually you may have more in common when it comes to your spirituality than you know. And our family members are also some of our greatest teachers when it comes to learning how to handle frustration and difficulty. If you think you're enlightened, go spend time with your family. Okay. All right. I have to go let Bedford in. Okay, Bedford's in. He was being very noisy. Very noisy. And this is the thing about cats, they don't have any qualms about saying how they feel. They'll just tell you. What have you been hiding about your spirituality that maybe you could share with other people? Okay. They may not judge you as much as you might think. So, crystallized assets. I want to go to actual crystals for this. Dollar bills. Yes. So there is some temptation here about worrying about money. Definitely comes up on Sunday. There is some concern about money. I've also got user abuser on the bottom of the deck, which is, because this is the money oracle, can be about financial abuse or someone who takes advantage of someone financially. I keep seeing number sequences. I just saw 011111. 5 ones. So again, there's number sequences coming out very strongly this week. That's a very divine number. Very, very interesting with all of those ones. Very sacred, very high vibrational. But also I want to say bringing in the higher mind. Very fascinating energy there. Beware of who takes advantage of you financially today, because it does feel like somebody's taking advantage. Or maybe there's financial abuse going on. Maybe you don't have the money that you need. Maybe somebody is restricting you so that you feel you have to beg and scrape for every last penny. Maybe you have assets but you can't access them. Maybe they're frozen. Maybe someone else has control over things. Maybe you're due an inheritance and the person who's supposed to be the the executive is mucking around, not giving you your share. It feels like there's a very unfair energy to do with money here. Some very, very difficult themes coming up. So be aware of that. Let's see if there's some advice for us on that theme. Golden opportunity. So I feel there is an opportunity to change that. I think it is connected to our spirituality, but there is an opportunity to change our financial fortune, I feel, on Sunday. There is a potential for change, and it comes on 15, which is also up here. And I want to say with that, it is the mind. The mind can actually come up with some good ideas sometimes, but it can also scare the pants off us. So don't fall for the fear. Yes. Let's get some astrology dice for Sunday. See what we've got going on. Ooh. Okay. So Pluto, that's not how I prefer to draw Pluto. Pluto, Virgo, 11th house. So Pluto, god of the underworld, endings and beginnings, life and death. Some very, very big themes coming in here. And with Virgo, it's about being ordered, it's about detail, but also simplicity. It can be a very analytical side of us. It can be to do with our health. And the 11th house, house of friendships and community, and a desire to actually help other people, to desire to help the community. So I do feel there is a change coming in Sunday's energy. It feels like it's asking us to make some big changes, perhaps for the greater good here. But that comes with a caveat and a warning. When we make a change for the greater good, we do it because it also benefits us. Okay, I'm not asking anyone to sacrifice themselves, but there's some big themes, some big responsibility coming in here. But I think we can change our future for the better. I think we can make some big changes moving forwards here. It's a very interesting energy. And I think it will benefit everybody else, even if it's a change that we've made seemingly just for ourselves. You know, it doesn't have to be selfish just because it's something that we do for ourselves. That's okay. You are allowed to do things for yourself. No one else is going to do them at the end of the day. But I also want to remind you that if you want to change the world, change yourself. You see, everyone wants the world to change, but no one wants to do the work for themselves. And that normally means doing your shadow work, doing your healing, doing meditation, learning to be at one, learning to be present, learning presence, which is very, very difficult, learning to live in the now, to be the observer of the mind, to not be reactionary. I mean, if we taught every child to do that, wow, there'd be no conflict in a generation. If every child was taught meditation. And I just want to come back to Maneki Neko, who's been sat quietly here this whole time, because I did feel the need to bring him in, or her maybe. I do feel there is opportunity. Opportunity is beckoning us, and not just financially. It feels like good fortune. Opportunity beckons this week in many different ways, many different forms. But we have to be aware. We have to have our eyes open in order to be able to see it. Otherwise, I think it could very easily pass us by. Not to say that it won't come again, but it does feel like there is a gift at the moment. And I'm just going to bring this actual gift in. This is a Swarovski crystal gift. Okay, the present is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Now is a gift. But the now is the gift. That's why it's called the present. And we aim to be present. Okay, so just a bit of a nudge there for you all. To remember to stay in the now, stay in the present moment, to stay in awareness, and to observe, be fully aware of everything going on around you. And that can be, you know, mindfulness meditation or being the observer of the thoughts. I also want to talk about self-Reiki today. I think that could be very helpful if that's something that you do, if you do Reiki. If you don't, you can actually get a free attunement from my website, enjoyingtheholistics.com, which is always linked below. Interesting energy. So, let's move on to the spiritual guidance message. Let's have a look, see what we've got there. So our spiritual guidance message this week. Our cards, we have number 2, resources. Number 26, protection, finding what's important. And we have 18, healing, restoring hope. Now we had this card, I think as part of our spiritual guidance message last week as well. Healing and restoring hope. Yeah, very interesting for humanity. Very important theme for humanity right now. Humanity's been beaten down, told all these terrible things about us, how we're destroying the planet, we're all going to die, everything's awful, you know, it's like chicken licking, oh, the sky's falling in. It's not. It's really not. I mean, that's not to say that there aren't things that could improve, but the dark powers that I talk about, you know, the powers that were, I like to put them in the past tense, the authority figures who like to act like they own the place, which they definitely don't. They've been trying to tell us that we do not have adequate resources for everybody. There's an implication in there that some people need to go. Again, false, not true. Protection, finding what's important, and 26:8. Yes, we must draw the line right now. We must draw the line in the sand. We must be clear about the fact that nature is abundant and generous. And I think we will start to see that this summer, this spring, this moving into summer. We will have the evidence that actually nature is abundant and generous. There is plenty for everybody. And I feel some people moving into more of an abundance time, an abundance mindset. Okay. Helping each other. It's almost like someone threw down the gauntlet and said, well, there isn't enough food for everyone. So some people went, fine, we'll grow some and we will make sure there's enough for our community. And all of a sudden, they wake up and realise, you know what, we've got way too much. We don't need all of this. We've got more than we needed. What do you mean there wasn't enough? And people start to open their eyes. So I want to say there is no lack. And I think that's part of the spiritual message for this week, is that there is no lack. Restore your hope. Restore your hope. Stop, running away from shadows. It's okay. Step out of fear, stop running away from shadows. And this might be relevant to you, might be relevant to other people around you. This might be a lesson that you already understand. But be very clear that you know what matters in your life. You know where your line is in the sand is. If you're presented with a choice, with an option, and there is a possibility to do something that lots of other people are doing, but it's the wrong thing, or there's an ethical decision to be made, make sure you know exactly where you stand on that one. It's always so important to make the right ethical decision, not the wrong one. Doing the wrong thing, supposedly for the right reasons, is still the wrong thing. Okay, it's still the wrong thing. There is a reminder as well about the oneness of all, the oneness of humanity. Okay, and it does feel like, in some level, the sovereignty, the courage of humanity is being restored this week, and I think we will start to see it. There is a lot of shadow healing going on, a lot of individuals doing their shadow healing, and that of course has a knock-on effect for the collective, because it can't not have a knock-on effect for the collective. So let's bring in a couple more cards here. There's always an effect. When you heal yourself, there is always an effect for the wider world. Okay. If you want to change the world, change yourself. So, Sisters of the Seasons and the Arrow Master. Interesting. We're talking about the story of the 2 arrows, or the 2 daggers. Arrow Master. Be very clear about what it is you want moving forwards. And this is the thing, they're saying, you know, finding what's important, being very clear about what your target is, your intention in this lifetime, your intention right now in your life. Understanding that there is divine order in everything that we see, you know, that everything goes through cycles, and that's okay. Right, the world goes through cycles. We individually go through cycles, you know, as men, as women, as children, as adults, as we grow older, as plants go through cycles. You know, the seasons are very obvious cycles that we can see around us. They differ slightly in different parts of the world, but we all have them. I don't think anywhere is static all of the time. There are always differences and changes. Okay, and it's okay, because there is a time for that. There is a time for growth, and there is a time for death. Okay, and it's remembering the perfection of all of it, the perfection of everything, despite the fact that we might not want things to die back. They have to die back in the winter, or we can't have a new harvest the next summer, next spring. Okay. Yeah, some very powerful messaging coming through, and with these very powerful dragons coming through, again, the dragon energy wanting to come through for the spiritual message. It does feel like, I've been saying this for a while, the dragon realm's getting closer to us, so it feels like the ancient knowledge, the ancient spiritual mysticism, wisdom, really starting to be sent, not just seeping through, not just coming through as inspiration, but literally being fired at us like arrows. Literally being inspiration hitting us smack between the eyes. Okay, and I think that's what we're going to see this week. Literally inspiration, wisdom, guidance hitting us between the eyes. Which is helpful, but it's necessary right now, because we really need to speed up. We need to speed up. We need to get going. We can't be complacent anymore. And by speed up, I don't necessarily mean running around doing lots of things. I mean, hurry up and take responsibility for our lives. Hurry up in that respect, and meditate. Hurry up and slow down. And I know that can sound confusing. That can sound contradictory, but it's really not. The winged wise ones, yes. Angelic help, miraculous aid. There's a lot of help coming in, angelic help this week, which is absolutely beautiful. Reminding us we are not alone. We are never alone. Even if we are grossly outnumbered, we can still call on angels for help, for support, because there's so much important work that we must do, both on an individual level, on a community level, in our families and our communities, but also on the international level right now, because it really feels like a lot of things are coming to a head. And this is a big one, guys. This is important. Okay. This is an important time for the future of humanity, and it's important that we decide what it is that we want for humanity, what it is that we want for our future on an individual and a collective level. Where do we want to see it go? Because we are in the time of the Great Separation that I've talked about a lot, where humanity is splitting into 2 groups. Which group are you in? You need to be very clear about that now. It's getting interesting. Definitely getting interesting. I don't think there's any wrong answer to that, just a personal preference. Yeah, so let's do charms. Charms for this week. Let's get some other messages. Okay. We have the ship's wheel. We have the pentagram. Very spiritual energy. We have a key. What's this? A beautiful leaf. I'm going to put this over here with the seasons. And we have a little squirrel on a branch. Okay. Love the squirrel on the branch. So it does feel like our spirituality, our higher knowledge really is the key to everything. Remembering that higher knowledge, taking control of the direction in our life. Reminding ourselves that yes, we do actually hold the keys to go through the door that we want to go through. Okay, there is a time for everything, and with the leaf as well, it's just a reminder that there is a time for everything, a reminder that there are seasons. We go through different seasons, our bodies go through different seasons, different times, and that's okay. Okay, and that yes, there can be new growth, but we don't expect it all the time. It wouldn't be healthy. And then the little squirrel, the little squirrel, he's getting ready for winter. He stores his nuts. He thinks ahead. He's not concerned about anything. He just gets on with it. So I want to say, don't let the mind run away with you. Just get on with it. Just get on with it and do the right thing. Do the thing that you know you need to do. Yeah, be a sovereign being. Be in control of the direction of your life. There's a nudge here as well to understand greater truths about the universe, maybe to investigate ancient spiritual concepts, spiritual texts, spiritual books, contemplation, philosophy, teachings. It's all there. This is the thing, we can look for the teachings, but they already exist. They're already all there. We already have everything that we need. Humanity already has all the information at their fingertips, literally on our devices, on our computers, our phones. We already have access to all the information. It's just a case of pressing the button and going to look at it. So, we've already got this. We've already got this. It's going to be fine. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you so much for being a member, for subscribing to me on Ko-fi. I hope this was helpful to you. Any comments, observations, questions, you can ask them in the Telegram group or below in the comments. I will see you very soon. Have a wonderful week. Have a happy Easter, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.